One versus two, still not out of the woods just yet. You're still going up against double your own man.
Hello and welcome back to ESA Cup Season 6. Today we are in for a real treat. We've got a best of 3 on our hands and I'm joined by Mr. TW.
Hello, Nash. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Took the dog for a walk. I'm a little exhausted, quite hot and bothered because it's quite warm outside today. But I am ready and excited to cast my first relegation cast.
Yeah,
Winner of this game goes on to the next round, makes it to one more match before they are able to secure themselves in for playoffs. But the loser of this match goes home.
it's going to be very interesting to see who can manage to get themselves forward and who can manage or who will be going home, because we will be saying goodbye to one of these teams today, unfortunately. But it will be very exciting because today, Nash, we've been casting a lot together already. For the people at home that don't know, this time though, it's a first time casting for UCA, so hopefully it's going to be a very good one. Hopefully we're going to get the same league of games that we've been getting at the Voltage League today.
Yeah, it's exactly what we're looking for. We're going to be looking for that sort of long form match coming forward. But one thing we are going to do is we'll have a quick sneak peek at the team pages first. And we'll just discuss the teams that are going to be playing today. So first team we are going to quickly look at and cover is going to be Empire. Empire, the German side, going to be sitting comfortably as their best map is going to be Clubhouse, and then as their worst is going to be Villa. They have a 33% win rate, which isn't great, but there's teams, for example, like Tracker Clan that started off a lot worse and have seemed to look a lot better as they've come forward. But Knockban and Solisban, kind of expected. Solis normally gets put in the bin anyway, so it's one of those that we really see. But I'll let you take it away with the next one. We have Odessa coming up.
Yeah, Odessa, it's a team to really look out for here, to be honest. Let's have a look at their stats right here. Their best map is going to be Theme Park, and if I'm not mistaken, I'll give you a little sneak peek to the map pool. I think we're going to see Theme Park. And their worst park, the worst map,
Their worst
sorry,
park.
is the worst map is going to be Chalet. It's a full French roster, so it's the French against the German today. It's, if you are from these countries, you know in Siege is a little bit of a rivalry, so hopefully it's gonna be like that on the server as well. But the most banned ops are Ying and Solis. Well, expect to just see Solis being banned because she always gets banned in every league. She's just really OP. But Ying, it's interesting to see they have a win rate of 38%. 38%, and they're looking like a team to beat here.
Yeah, definitely slightly higher than the other teams. And there's a couple players that we've seen definitely do very well. People like Ryuji. We've got people like Xerox. Just people that are genuinely quite sort of open arms to take gunfights, things like that, from what I've seen when they have played. So we'll have to wait and see for them and see sort of how it develops. But we'll quickly take a brief look at the Twitter prediction. We'll switch over to that right now. And well, Empire, even though they have a slightly worse win rate, are actually looking to be on the up with the community. So maybe there's more Germans.
Yeah, there might be more Germans watching here at the ECA Cup, but I mean it's by a slight margin. Only 59 to that or wait, is that 30? I can't quite see it there. Is that 40 41? Yes, exactly. My math isn't mathing right now. But yeah, it's still a close vote no matter what. So we'll most likely have like almost like a 50-50% here. Germans, between the Germans and the French sides here in chat as well. We'll have to see what they can really bring. Let's head over to the map bands though to see what we are going to be heading into today.
Well, as you can see on the screen in front of you, we are going to be looking at map number 1 as Clubhouse. Guaranteed we are going to see. Obviously, it's map number 1. The ban situation kind of expected. You ban out Oregon. You don't want that boring sort of like long form game. Everyone knows what they're doing on that map. You ban out Bank. You ban out Border. Ban out Sky, Chalet, Villa. Generally quite generic maps, but Clubhouse and Cafe have made it through. Cafe, however, is going to be a decider for the best of 3. And Theme Park, which is actually the side of, was it Empire's best map?
I think so. Yes, indeed.
No.
Yeah.
Yes. No. It was Odessa's.
Oh, Odessa's. Yeah.
Odessa's, and then Club. Our first map is Empire's best map. So we're gonna be seeing them in their comfortability, in their prime coming into this matchup. They're definitely going to be very sort of set up and ready to put anything forward onto the table that is absolutely necessary. So both of these teams going to be quite comfortable on those initial 2 maps, and more than likely we are going to be going to Cafe, which is going to be our third. So I guess we'll have to see how these teams do perform coming into their own map picks. We do, as you can see on screen as well, have Empire starting on defense for both of the first 2 maps. So could be an advantage, could be a bit of a disadvantage, especially with the way that CC has been going. If they're not really comfortable in the bar site, then it could be a bit of a sketchy situation for them. But we will just have to wait and see. Last couple of things I want to cover, because at the moment we are still waiting on a few other players. We're going to go to the Swiss stage bracket, and we're going to just quickly discuss that between us, and then you can get a bit of a better look at where these teams are standing right now. So we'll quickly just run down from the very bottom. The game being played right now is Empire versus Odessa, and you can see in the 1-2 spot, that is equal to their win-loss ratio. So they've each won a map against another team, or a best of 3, I actually assume, because relegation. But they lost 2 in a row to get down to relegation. So they've got to go through all 3 best of 3s in order to actually qualify for the playoffs. And I'm not sure who their next opponent is going to be. I could probably work it out on the fly before we come back from a break after we look at this. But at the moment, it depends on who wins, who they're going to be against, and whether they're actually able to translate a win today and pull it forward even further by beating out one of these teams, whether it be Project 100, Minions, or Tracker Clan, who all seem to be in that 2-2 bracket.
Yeah, exactly. Today it's all going to be about surviving, and then maybe even surviving even further, because these teams that will be playing here initially really have to be playing 2 games. They aren't just going to be surviving or they aren't just going to be through by winning 1 game. They need to win 2 in a row in order to get themselves through. Every single game that they lose will get themselves 1 step closer to being out. So it's all going to be it's just all life or death for this tournament for any of these teams today.
Yeah, definitely. Something I am forgetting, actually, that I've just been reminded about by our producer, is phase 3 of this tournament is already got a few confirmed teams. As you can see on the screen, MDF, considered to be one of the best in the ESA Cup at the moment, is going to be on the top seed. Then we have E-Wave versus QUQ, and we have TM, and also the bottom team, which I'm unsure of the logo, so I quickly just have to check. Oh, Penta, apparently. My producer's telling me it's Penta, so we'll just stick with that. We've got MDF confirmed, QUQ versus E-Wave in the first round of knockouts as their first match. Then we have TM, then we have Penta. So all of these teams are confirmed with their phase 3 playoffs bracket, and obviously it's life or death going through here. It's win or go home. So now we've quickly just run over that. We are going to be just cutting back to a little break just while we make sure that we've got everyone ready and in the lobby in order to start out this match, and I guess we'll see you soon. Hello and welcome back. I am Naj, joined, as I said, by TW, and we're getting into Clubhouse, boys. So, going into the operator ban phase, we are going to be seeing these teams go through it and bin off whatever they don't like. I'm going to be going through the attackers, and I'll pass over to TW for the defenders, but I'm pretty sure we're going to see something along the lines of like a Hibana on the attack. We'll probably see, a knock, someone on the entry, just because that's very much how this map is kind of played. You take out the nades, you take out the entry. Knock is still a bit of a rat, even though she doesn't have Silent Step anymore, so definitely one to sack off and be happy about. Maybe we'll see Hibana if they go for some sort of like more defensive ban. But instead we see a Thatcher, which is along similar lines. So more than likely we're going to be seeing a Cade ban as well.
Yeah, what I'm expecting here is that we're going to see that Cade ban, most likely. Or we're most likely going to be seeing a Solus ban or actually a Fenrir ban.
I mean, I can definitely agree with both the Solace and the Fenrir. Mirror does lose out and get taken out of this matchup, so that's going to be very interesting to see how they decide to set up in logistics and on the bathroom side when they are holding gym bedroom, or even holding the bar site if they do decide to go for an upstairs hold. We follow with Solace very quickly, removing her from the situation because she is extremely broken at vertical play. So, as I've said before to a few other people, one of the strategies to deal with Solace that I've seen, which is actually quite interesting and a lot more of a ranked strategy than anything else, is this this sort of bait where if there's a Solace as the last person standing, you're in like a 1v1, 1vx, whatever. A lot of people I've seen will like drop the diffuser in like default plant sites and then or default plant spots and then move away in order to bait out Solace's impact grenades and then start planting on a table. So we are going to be going straight into the gym bedroom site, which is quite interesting for the side of Empire. Not in a negative way, but it's nice to see something that isn't CCTV, as it has become a lot weaker for a lot of teams. Head holes being set up on the left side of the garage wall, looking from CC side, and or I assume there's going to be head holes there, but Castle's just running around construction at the minute with a shotgun, making sure the windows are all barricaded off and keeping his team quite safe. They do have the one reinforcement on the side of logistics, so more than likely going to be some presence in there as well. And it looks like Bandit is just going to be pre-placing his charges, expecting them to be dealt with quite quickly. They do have an ace and a thermite on side, so bringing along a lot of hard breach coming into this initial game. And Krent is going to be the one moving all the way through inside of Strip here. He's going to be making his way through, seeing if he can get some map presence coming forward. There is going to be a player lingering around there, though, so potentially going to be an engagement coming up. Bandit just tricking on this construction wall. And not really a lot going on as of this point, but it does look like Thermite wants to try and come in through... looks like Thermite and Gridlock coming in through the CC wall. So we'll have to see what they decide to try and do here.
Yeah, it's looking like that east side to west side split coming from both of those sides, making sure that you can clear the bottom first, then go upstairs and really just make sure that the attacking side has everything covered before they really go in. And then it's just going to be really hard for those leftover defenders to keep on holding that both of those angles, both of those ways that these attackers could be coming from. With a 1 minute 40 left, they still haven't made too much way with those walls yet.
I mean, they definitely haven't.
Breach open the pool wall, but there's Jaeger holding there. Nikon is the first point of contact.
Yeah, Nikon gonna be keeping his eye on the breach, but it's going to be Moritz to lose his life first as Ryuji on the sledge, hanging around on the balcony, dealing with those castle barricades, making sure he's able to find some stuff for himself. Almost finds another, but decides to fall off the angle in order to drone through logistics and potentially could be run out on here if he isn't too careful and doesn't have a teammate watching his back. Indeed he does, which is going to be the Ash on the far right side. Gets caught out is Nikon, and Perfect manages to get one in return. Ryuji Finding one more, absolutely popping off on this side now as Forrest is going to be rotating underneath the last man standing. Ryuji on a quad kill. Is he going to be able to get an ace in the first round? He's going to be watching these main stairs, and the Mozzie below is going to be on 1 HP. This could be the first ace of the match, and there it is, Ryuji coming out on top, making sure to deal with Fewest Ghost in the first round. Well, it's looking like a dominant start. Let's see if we continue this through the match, because, well, we didn't come to play around.
Yeah. Yeah, that was just quick succession. That was just an ace coming out straight from the back of Ryuji, making absolute work of his opposing team. Man, what is there to say about that round? That was absolute insane work.
Well, yeah, he really asserted his power on the Empire coming into this, but we'll have to see if the Empire strikes back and if Star Wars does ring true. So here we go. We're going to be seeing a little bit of a setup from this Echo around the bar side, and we are going to be seeing Castle go over towards Kitchen just to get some barricades over on that side in order for there to not be too assertive of a push coming through. But seeing such a strong round come out of Odessa in round number 1 of the first map really doesn't paint a happy picture for the side of Empire here. But they're bringing along the Doc, going to be trying to heal themselves up throughout, and they also have a few trap operators going to be bringing along that Smoke and also the Frost. The Echo, some consider to be a trap operator, but more of an intelligence operator than anything else. Some people do argue that he could be considered a trap operator, but I will say otherwise for now. It looks like Castle's going to be fixing up those footholes on the stage to see through and maybe catch someone under the shield, as he does have the pixel angle going all the way through to the main door area. They're going to be opening up this jacuzzi wall, seeing if they're able to get themselves in on the upstairs quite early on. There is going to be a player in logistics and another one following along in bathroom. The one in bathroom going to be just checking things out right now, seeing what he can see, and the player in logistics is going to be just watching some roof holes down into the kitchen. So at the moment, no engagements really happening. We do actually have 3 players up on this bedroom side, so it's going to be this Mute alongside the Doc and alongside the Frost, so we are quite happy with that. One player's actually gotten in already. Gets taken out by Frost. QB is actually the one to find Moritz very, very early on. I wonder where he even came in from. He managed to get all the way through, probably jumped in the jacuzzi breach, I would assume, and they've managed to find one more player count in favor of Empire, and now they're just going to be seeing if they can keep working that. The side of Odessa are going to be a little bit scared, but it looks like Ryuji coming back on the back of his ace already, just securing one more for himself. 6-0 is this man right now, round number 2. That's astonishing, as we are going to be seeing a bit of aggression come out of Nikon alongside Fuist, who's still hanging around on that upper floor, but it looks like Gridlock's already... Oh no, it was actually Ace that has made his way through, but the player behind the breach is going to be able to take out Gridlock, and it's just going to be Ryuji left remaining in this 1vx situation. 1v3, is he going to be able to clean up these players? Gets into a bit of an engagement with the player below him, manages to take out Frost, now 7-0, as he does have 2 players left to deal with. One's the Echo, one's the Castle. Castle's going to be hanging around in split, and he is going to be above this billiards hatch. Going to be trying to fit through the rotate, but too chubby to do so at first, and now rotates back over to stage. There is going to be a player inside of stock, which is the Echo, but I don't know if this is going to be called out for Ryuji. He takes a bit of a scuffle with the Castle in the corridor, manages to take him out, and now doesn't quite know about the Echo inside of stock. And Fuist manages to clean up Ryuji, securing a round for his team, equalizing us at 1-1, even though we have a player 7-1 now, maybe 8-1. I'm pretty sure 7-1, but that's still mental coming into round number 3. Bit of a Semi roster switch up. It looks like the side of Empire are just switching around a few of their operators with each other, and they are going to be bringing along the mute this time again. Instead, oh no, it's Bandit instead of the smoke. My bad. But either way, pretty much the same lineup coming out of the side of Odessa. Only this time swapping QB onto the Gridlock and Akashi onto Dekebi originally, but now Buck. So, going to be going to Jim again. So, more than likely going to be trying to look for the site win over here for the side of Empire before they do end up going down into the basement. So, we'll have to see. We are just seeing a little bit of an eastern hold coming out of these teams. The Frost actually going to be making some more head holes, some more angles for those defenders to really work with. As now the Bandit going to be rotating over to the opposite side, sitting around in construction for a little bit, making sure to put his gadget down on that wall, and potentially going to be trying to trick this outside construction wall once again. As we see at the moment, we are just watching these attackers get themselves set up for opening this CC wall. They have managed to get it open very, very swiftly, as now they're going to be just applying pressure around as much as they can. And, I mean, they're already spreading themselves out across the roof to get as much of the control across the map as possible. Looks like Thermite's going to be rotating over to the construction wall, placing it down straight away and going to be setting it off, but it's muted. Now it's dealt with by the Bandit. So we're down a Thermite charge coming into the remainder of this round. We do, however, still have the ace on side on QB, as he has switched over and Akashi has gone onto the Gridlock before this round started. So the ace is going to be able to get this bathroom wall open and already has control of Jacuzzi wall. So we will be seeing a bit of pressure come out of them.
All right, man, I'm back. My stuff is working again. I'm sorry for that. I had a little bit of a problem, but here we go. We do see the Frost. I'm pressured a little bit by those camps. She will be spotted, so they are aware of where she is, and the attackers now slowly making work of these defenders as they are all known. Nade from downstairs. Odessa is trying to get it out, to get rid of that barrier shield from underneath. Should have been able to do it. Sanity will actually be able to manage to get the first one out from the pool side. Perfect. Get another one, turning it into a 3 versus 3. Immediately does get refragged.
Yeah, very strong plays.
Ooh, perfect gets down there. Now it's just a 1 versus 3. Moritz down to 1 HP.
Oh, Moritz. You're going to be left all alone here, as you do have 2 players left to deal with. One of those players 8-1 on Ryuji. This is only round number 3. Do bear that in mind, and he might actually get an angle onto the planter, but isn't able to find it. The player outside is going to be a big threat to Ryuji's, to Moritz's position right now. He doesn't quite know where he is, but it looks like he can hear him a little bit, and he does have a bit of awareness from that drone that just got thrown in there. They're both going to be quite low on HP, both afraid of catching one bullet. As you said, he does have those 2 nades in pocket, more than likely going to be using them as he does rotate over. Has to jump in the window, isn't able to get there quick enough, and the defuse is successful for Moritz.
Oh my god. How does he manage to get that defuse off? It's just a perfect angle that he places himself in between from the window and that little resting place for the dumbbells. There's just nothing Sledge could have done besides perhaps cook a nade and then hopefully hope that nade would bounce behind it and then that it would explode in time, because he was not going to get behind that in time, especially with that frost trap that would still be sat underneath the window. Such an unfortunate mistake from the attackers to plant in a position like that can just not be held from the windows.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate, as you said. We are going to be seeing them go down into the basement side this time, so potentially a bit of a different strategy coming out. We do see a Hibana on the side for the attack alongside a Ying, so we can imagine that the main execute is going to come out of Ryuji, and with how he's feeling himself right now, I imagine that He's going to want to put a gun in his hand, similar to Ying's
Oh, yeah.
LMG, but he is going to be switching over to the Ash instead, which is still a very, very good, consistent gun on the G36C. So he is going to be doing more or less the same thing, this time moving away from the flex, but more onto that entry fragger role with Akashi picking up the buck instead.
Oh, and he's already near defender. I'm wondering if that defender heard him go into the camp. If perhaps we could see a little runner happening, but it didn't go into fruition as Riju is still alive. Still trying to make his way in, but he's on his own right now. And I think by now he should have been heard. Yeah, indeed, we do see it. But, well, it's been spotted immediately, and we will not most likely not see a frag come that way, as Riju should be able to take that space.
He doesn't know about the player on red stairs.
Oh, he's got away. He's got away. He just about slipped away from them, wondering, now Riju see them. Now he knows the jig is up. And actually, considering where these defenders are placed, they could easily just go onto the side. A lot of them are placed vertically, or are placed more horizontally rather than vertically.
They know two players
indeed, they're
upstairs.
onto the side already. They're on the side. They're able to plant the diffuser. Only one kill coming back from the defenders. There's a second one coming out from Nikon, but that's not enough. He only gets one as he now will fall down. Fire Ghost will eventually fall as Akashi with the buck finishes it up.
Indeed he does. Manages to clean up that kill, and it's going to secure another round for the attacking side. They've managed to get themselves back up to that mark as they have secured themselves a second. 2-2 on the board. Going to be fairly equal as of right now, but Odessa, simply because of Ryuji along, is going to be looking like the stronger team for now. So we'll have to wait and see. The defensive side did win one of their rounds off a defuse, and now we're looking, and they only won their other one off positioning.
Here's the thing, though, Nash. I'll make a little counter to that, though. How much can one person do? You have to think about it as well. Riju, you might want to give them the advantage because Riju is absolutely fragging out right now, but one person can only carry a team so much in my eyes, and I don't think we'll see that one person be able to carry every single round.
Well, the thing I would like to recounter you with is everyone else on Odessa is about equalized with their counterparts on the opposite side. But Ryuji is just steps miles ahead of everybody. 6 kills above the highest on his team. And then 5 kills, now 6 above the second highest in the game.
I guess he just made a counter argument for you.
Yeah, indeed he did. He is really creating a name for himself in this game and is already 10-1 in round number 5. So he's averaging 2 kills per round. We're going to be seeing a bit more of a dominant performance coming through.
That's a 10 KD. Probably everyone in chat wishes to have that.
Yeah. He is going on a bit of a tear right now, and taking out the Echo very early is going to be very good for your team. Bringing down that sort of late round execute counter is going to be so good for you. He does have his drones still alive and on the field, but potentially some of them could be landed or in bad positions, and overall it just leaves you in a bit of a questionable spot if you are that Echo and if you are unfortunately in the grave. But we'll have to see how they decide to persist through this round on the side of Odessa.
Yeah, I guess Fire Ghost at least has enough stuff to play around with while he's dead. At least he has enough camps to look at, enough angles to cover, and enough calls to give for his teammates. But, well, I don't even think that that's going to be enough. There's no calls coming out for the blue side as they all just fall into a red abyss. Perfect is the only one that finds himself one on that frost. Oh, Riju down to low HP now. He's toying with death.
He is playing around with it a little bit, moves over towards this castle barricade, knows that there could potentially be a player behind it, is going to open it to the frost that is sitting around on stage, but she dies to Krint. And now with IBAN getting the plant down, it's gonna have to fall on Maritz to actually get it secured from above. Manages to find the kill, but unable to stop the plant, as now the plant's down. He's got to win this 1v3 situation, which is technically a 1v4. And it's not gonna be the best position to be in. He is upstairs. He does have to make his way down one of these filtered staircases. Gets in a bit of a scuffle with the Yana, but going to have to heal himself as he does decide to fall off. Still got 3 of those stims remaining. Moves over towards the hatch to see if he can get himself down onto site. It's going to fall into the engagement with Akashi. Akashi finds that kill, and Odessa come out with the win for this round. And Nikon is going to potentially lag out. I'm pretty sure he timed out there. So
yeah,
maybe rehost, not sure, depending on what the production and admins decide on. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, most likely a quick little pause before we do head back into the round. But Naj, man, actually perfect leaves as well. So it's probably going to be a rehost before we do get back into it. Nash, we are seeing Odessa finally taking the lead. Is there anything in these last couple of rounds that you perhaps have caught that they are doing good in order to get these rounds, or that they are succeeding in?
Well, overall, it seems to me like it's a positioning advantage. It's not necessarily a skill issue, because gunfight wise, it's going pretty okay for the side of EG. The major issue, from what I can see, for these players are just rejoining. So we are seeing people like Nikon already join, and we'll be seeing the other remaining player come back in soon. But here's Perfect joining the game once again. But as I was saying, it seems to me on the side of Odessa that obviously Ryuji is having a very good day with his aim and with his general sort of decision making. But overall, it comes down to strategy in this matchup, and I think that just having the sort of superior position on the side of Odessa is giving them the advantage throughout this game so far. Especially with Ryuji being able to play that balcony so well, not being contested from the CC window because his team is controlling that side of the map so well, and really being methodical about moving forward. So he has so much time to really sort of manipulate the positioning of these defenders. And I think when it comes down to the other sites as well, playing around in strip, playing above, he's just doing such a good job as a player. And then his team alongside him are able to just support that, control the map, make sure they're really able to play off the fact that like they have that player that's doing well. And as much as it does fall down to being the Ryuji show, his team are sort of pulling that in as well.
Exactly, and I have to feel like the way that EG are playing really plays into how Ryuji plays as well. EG are a lot of the time they're a little bit split up. They're not necessarily playing with each other, and that's where Odessa comes in. They have like 2 or 3 people taking space, and usually Ryuji is that man finding the frags, that headlight, not even really the frontliner. He's just the man taking the frags in that little group, and that's something that Odessa really is just good at this very moment. I feel like EG need to go back to the basics a bit more in order to find some more success, in order to shut down a player like Ryuji. Yeah, I'm having a hard time with his name. Ryuji, yeah. In short, you have to shut down a player like Ryuji by just grouping up and by playing the basics instead of just doing these weird split up strats where he is just able to take it down way too easily just by droning or just by standing on a window.
Yeah, I think on the side of EG, something else they could try as well is a little bit of an unorthodox play, but they could start throwing bodies at a problem. At the moment, they're not really doing much. They're kind of very docile as a roster, like right now. But I think if, for example, you've got this pressure on balcony, it's worth maybe throwing someone out of a window to see if you can deal with it. Especially if you've got like a few players alive or a man advantage or something of some kind, which they have managed to establish for themselves in a couple of these rounds. So, I mean, if you're able to do it and you've got someone confident enough, just send someone screaming through. But we do see these players just postured around the underneath of this wall, going to be trying to get that open. But we do have the bandit hanging around. on that side. They don't know he's fallen off just yet, and Thermite has lost one of his Thermite charges, so only has one remaining to actually open up this CC wall in the first place.
There might be a problem later on for Pool, depending on whether or not there's any of those electric, or actually there's definitely going to be electro claws there, as there is Sanity playing on that Kate. Now Crin's having a little bit of contact with the defenders. Nikon is the first one to fall as Ryuji. He just keeps on
He's
his
a
tear.
monster, man. He's
What a
crazy.
monster, yeah. He opens up the window, still just quick scopes him. He's just playing Call of Duty within Siege right now.
I
Just
mean, that
running
is the
around,
case.
fragging out, taking every single person down.
Oh, the
We
K-trick.
spotted another one, but no, this time he
Oh.
falls down. But he still found one!
He managed
Even
to secure
after
the
he
trade.
died. Yeah.
Perfect
At least
play.
perfect is, yeah, at least perfect is alive. He's taking some down.
But now we just see these players hanging around outside the breach. It is going to be Akashi and QB. QB is going to be downed, but just getting the quick res from Akashi is going to maintain his safety. And there was a bit of a scuffle there on the top of main stairs. Someone has been spotted. Looks like the Cade. But now we've got Bandit just rotated back to site. Cade. Sanity is going to be hanging around on those main stairs, so potentially going to be finding one for himself. First, though, with the MP7 in the hand, does manage to find one, bring it down to a 1v3, and there is going to be 10 seconds left on the clock, so something needs to happen if Akashi expects to win this round, but I doubt really he's going to be trying to do much, just padding that KD stat, managing to find the kill under Sanity, and that's going to give us round number 5 in the way of Empire.
5? Oh, that was 6.
Oh, round number 6 in the way of Empire.
6 already. We already went 3-3. We already got our first half going, as we now do switch sides. EG managed to put up quite a good defense, but I don't quite think that Odessa are gonna give this one up, in my opinion. Now that Odessa have that chance to play their defense, I feel like they might just be able to run away with it, since EG they managed to get that 3 rounds, their 3 rounds on the board, which is usually the bare minimum for your defense, I would have to say. I don't just think it's going to be enough, and I feel like Odessa should be able to take it quite easily here.
I mean, definitely so. Managing to maintain an even half with some very defensively favoured sites upcoming for these teams. They are going to be starting us on the basement floor, so possibly one of the strongest sites in the game, alongside the Oregon basement. But we'll ignore that analogy for now, because I use it all the time. But we are just seeing a little bit of setup come out of these players. We are going to be possibly seeing Ryuji on the Cade, just doing some Cade tricking. So just keeping himself turtled around on site to make sure they have a good last line of defense.
It's interesting that Ryuji is playing Cade here. I would have expected him to play something more aggressive, like the Azami perhaps. But the Cade, it's definitely an interesting pick to see Ryuji on, and he's playing with the AUG as well instead of that shotgun. I can't quite remember what it's called.
The TCSG.
Yeah, this TCSG, which basically is just a cannon. Yeah, it's a phenomenal gun. I love using it myself personally, because it's just bang bang and an enemy is dead. What can they do? And then sometimes if you have that good aim going on, or you have like a good day like Ryuji is having, it's just one taps all the way through.
But First has walked all the way through the top floor, and he knows it's clear, and they've got so much control. Still 2 minutes remaining. The Maverick's almost all the way through as well, and he's just going to be popping some shots down onto that main door, just to verify that no one's hanging around at the bottom of those main stairs. Hibana walks through into blue, but notices there is going to be a K-plot on the hatch, so she's unable to get it. They don't have any impacts on side, and they also can't bring along that Thatcher, so no way of actually dealing with this hatch, which is a bit of a detriment for them, and a bit of a pretty fatal mistake if you ask me. So they need to find some other way of actually getting rid of that K-Claw inside of blue there.
Yeah, that's a problem for them. They've brought so much hard breach utility, but they have nothing in order to really make that hard breach utility have a usage. I see if this patch opens. I don't quite... Oh, it actually does. Ryuji will not be able to stand within that little closet, within that little spot, as Moritz now is starting to drone from that utility room with 1 minute still left. They're all setting up for just a quick hit towards the end. A full anchor from Odessa that's going to be coming through here. None of them called out on their own. Will just be a 5 versus 5 as the first couple flashes do start heading in, but nothing really going in just yet.
dropped,
It's
though.
just the first footsteps, yeah. It's just the first little baby steps. Ivana now going for the peak, and there we go. Moritz getting the first one on the board. 40 seconds still left, and Fires goes, puts one as well. Krint is there. As Fires goes, keeps his tyranny going. That's the first 2 entry picks for him. Nikon will find one for himself as well, and there's nothing Akashi can do to end it off with, as Moritz is just going to shoot him from his side.
Yeah, it does manage to secure that wall bang into blue. Obviously, the footholds there, the footholds were there to assist, but technically, was that a 1v1 at the end of that?
Yeah,
because
no.
we had the down player. Akashi managed to find one, so it was either a 2v1 of players that are actually standing or a 1v1. So it was very close for Akashi, and Akashi is like 7-2 right now, 7-3, 7-3. So. Well, if you've got any players on the team that can do it, it's going to be Akashi and Ryuji. Obviously, Ryuji was the first fatality, but you've still got a player like Akashi on side who is also at them pretty high numbers. But on the opposite side, we do see Fuist and Perfect managing to find their way into this game. Sanity still having a bit of a rough one, but Moritz actually had a pretty good round.
Yeah,
So,
I would have to say that Foyest has really been starting to warm up into this game. I feel like he's slowly started to get a couple rounds on the board where he gets a double kill or two, where he gets a double kill, where he maybe gets a frag and opener in order to get stuff going. If EG can really have one of those players on the entry that can wake up and do that initial kind of work for you, they might just have a chance to take down Odessa here on attack, in my opinion.
I'm stupidly bewildered right now at the attacking lineup because, I mean, we've swapped off the Yana for a sledge for Fuist, but there's still no impacts. There's still no sense of, oh, what if there's a Cade? Like,
yeah.
So at the moment, we are just looking at these players still without any method of opening up these electrified hatches. So they have to deal with the Cade Claw manually. They do have the Maverick. The Maverick is able to put in the work necessary in order to get them open, but it just wastes a lot of time. And I mean, when you're on a basement site like this and there's so many angles that the defenders can be holding against you, it's still a bit sketchy to just have to use that Maverick in order to be able to make your way in. So
exactly.
blue hatch,
but they've already got the first.
They do.
I mean,
they have managed to secure that for themselves. That's going to be open and ready to use. Maverick going to be making quick work of the Moto hatch, and Akashi going to be sat around on generator with Ryuji watching his back.
Yeah, they're slowly starting to open up those hatches. A bit of damage exchange onto Perfect, but nothing to really be eye-opening as Akashi does.
That's just him being zapped
go
by
near
the Cade
him.
Claw.
Oh yeah.
Struggling to get that hatch open, but I think he's secured it now as he is going to be moving around it, and yeah, it looks like he is going to be just peeking through it. So it does look like he's got that open, and yeah, now they can start applying pressure towards the site. They deal with the cam through the floor, which is going to be very good, as now you've denied any information onto that corridor that isn't physical peeking. So Nave sings in, unable to find anything, nearly finds a drone, but does find the electric lord that was dealing with that wall. So now they're going to get a little foothold breach behind those black boxes in order to be able to get themselves in, but both of those ace charges are going to be dealt with very quickly, so I don't even think you're going to be able to prone through that. But it is a quick little peek hole.
Why is Ryuji going so aggressive here? I mean, I know that he's yeah, it's confidence, it's overheating. He's fragging out right here, but he doesn't need to go so aggressive and go for a solo pick like that, because it will absolutely cost your team a round, which should have been possible to win.
Definitely should have been, but they're managing to find kills on the side of Empire right now, and I mean, it's exactly what you want to see if you're an Empire fan, because, well, in the first half, they were struggling, and this is supposed to be their best map. This is their pick. This is their map.
Yeah, exactly. And going into the second
realistically,
map,
they should bring out a win on this. And going in, as you were going to say,
yeah, the second map is going to be Theme Park. The
Which
second
is-
map is going to be Odessa's favorite map, Odessa's best map.
exactly.
You do not want to be losing this if you're EG. That's really just the point here. If EG loses this game, they're in for a big world of trouble.
Exactly.
And if I'm not
the more work
mistaken,
you
I
put in
saw
this
it as Naj, if I'm not mistaken, I saw if their worst map was Theme Park. If I'm not mistaken,
their
EG's
worst map
first...
their worst map's Villa.
Oh, Villa.
And then
sorry.
Odessa's worst map is Chalet. But
Oh,
one thing I will say is the more work you put in on this map on the side of EG, the quicker you'll be able to get to that win condition. And if you win and come out on top, you're not going to be too fearful of losing the next one. So you are able to sacrifice if you feel it necessary. If you are just being absolutely mullered by the opposite team, which isn't likely because both of these teams are around an equal skill level, but it's still a little scary if you're coming into your own map and then getting absolutely pushed around and played with against the team that is contesting you.
exactly. And I feel like they've now finally actually changed up their lineup a little bit to switch over. Since that switch over did happen towards that bedroom site. But that it's just going to be the same story around again for EG. They will find the opening couple picks and they will find their success. And I feel like their setups they're doing in terms of the operators, it might not seem too logical, especially on that church site. But for some reason, it's working out. There is a reason to the madness that they're doing, even though the Maverick strat that they did earlier on might seem really slow and it might seem really time consuming. It worked out. And now with the switch over to Flores, I feel like it's personalized for this site, which should make it work out just once again. It maybe even to a greater succession than we saw over towards Church a little bit ago.
They're messing with my toys. Sequential breach activated.
Attackers dropped the diffuser.
Swapping mags.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
Yeah, they've managed to gotten that little bit back, that little bit of comfortable side back, but it won't last for too long as the first one does manage to get down. They do go into a 2 versus 3, still play it down, which it actually does make it a 2 versus 2. Eventually the player does get finished, but Perfect trades his life for a finish as Ryuji does continue his tear, and Krint will tag along just with it as Morris will go down. The little angle, the little pixel through the window will finish it up as we do finally see Odessa take their first offensive round.
Yeah, apologies. I saw I got called out in chat by Muzza. My mic has a few issues at the moment. Well, it's not my mic, it's my preamp. I do need to get a new one, but I'm a bit poor, so we move. You didn't hear my last little monologue, but I was basically just explaining what was going on anyway. But I'm back and hopefully working properly. But
all of us casters are poor.
the struggles. But we do see a much more aggressive lineup on the side of Odessa coming into this next basement hold, which is exactly what we like to see. They're not going to be opting for that electrification on the hatches. Instead, going to be opting for a bit more information. And obviously putting Ryuji on the Wamai is going to be a bit cooler for them, alongside Akashi, who's going to be picking up that Vigil, which is a very selfish operator, yes, but one that does work quite well. So
Yeah, and especially with the recent changes that have been made to Vigil, I feel like he's really strong at this very moment. He can
Yeah.
really just be one of those strong, reliable roamers that can reliably get you a kill and even get out as well. Nowadays, that's the most important thing a roamer can do, is put one on the board, get into a 5 versus 4, and then get out and anchor on top of the side, because that's when you can just play a game. That's when, as the defenders, you can just sit comfortably, hold your angles, and you know you're most likely going to win the round.
Well, I haven't done too much testing with it, but I'm pretty sure I don't know too much about like shooting and things like that. But you can perform actions as Vigil now with your gadget active. So technical buff to his glitch effect, because now he works similarly to Knock. So I think the shooting should be the same. Corinth does manage to find a kill onto Nikon over on Oil Pit, and that's going to be very good for your team, taking out that entry fragger, someone that's had a lot of impact in the previous rounds on this site. But as I was saying, Vigil now can perform actions while only actually showing up as a glitch effect, which is what you see when Knock is running on a camera or similar things like that. So a slight technical buff to Vigil, so he is going to be a bit stronger coming into this lineup. QB manages to find one more for himself, putting himself on the board a little bit more, as he is 4 and 8 right now. Akashi finds one onto Fur Ghost, which is going to be the sledge going down, and these two players that have managed to find their footing on the side of Perfect and Fur Ghost, and Nikon, who has managed to be such a threat on this site. You're left with only your hard breaches.
Yeah, I mean, it's Odessa now finally getting a round that they really needed. They needed to get something clean on the board. They needed something swift right here. And it's seeming like it should be really swift. Depending on if Moritz does bite the dust here early on, he does manage to get a double kill. So he makes it a little bit
Beautiful.
interesting. But, well, yeah, that's a impossible doorway to get through.
Indeed it is. Managing to, unfortunately for him, get caught out by that Valkyrie with the crossfire that they had going on, and just peeks a little bit too wide, so the other player is able to secure that for his team. So now we move into a position where we're 5-5, map 1. This is supposed to be the map that Empire is able to really thrash and bring a performance on, and we're stuck in this position where they are genuinely struggling, and
Yeah.
well, as much as the chat has brought up that Ryuji hasn't got a kill in the last 3 or 4 rounds, he's still comfortably top of the leaderboard with that 14 and 5 right now. So
And as
more than
well,
likely, a bit of pressure coming out from him.
Exactly. I'll add on top of that. I'll add something on top of that, Nash. His teammates are starting to wake up as well. There's the saying of it just being a one-man show can kind of go to rest right now, since Corinth is starting to wake up, since Akashi is starting to get up there as well. Both of them are close to that double-digit mark, and that's something that Odessa need right here in order to get them across the finish mark on this map, so they can head in to that second map of Theme Park, which will be their pick. So with an advantage, they right now have a chance to really take it if everyone wakes up. Well, I mean, one of those players that was close to double digits and one of those players that I was hard picking up right here has already bitten the dust, is already gone and out for it, as Corinth does immediately gets unalived by Perfect.
Indeed, he does. And now Perfect going to be rotating over to this CC wall, going to be opening up more than likely alongside Ash and Sledge. But I think Ash might actually be going for a bit more of something quite aggressive. And instead, they are just going to be opening up the bottom of the wall to see if they can spot out any bandit charges. But instead, it is going to be that Cade. So a bit more difficult to deal with in that sense. Yeah. And I think he's going to go onto the rappel and realize that he isn't able to see any bandit charges and is actually a bit more boned in that situation than he realizes. Ooh. So now he's only really got footholds going on. First finds one onto Ryuji, a perfect player to take out in this situation. But as it has already been brought up, he hasn't got a kill in the last couple of rounds. So he's not an amazing threat right now. You've lost to the other players in the previous few rounds. So the other players are the ones you've really got to worry about. One of those has gone down, but you've still got the Akashi with that TCSG in hand
This
on
is so
side.
cheeky. Oh, he almost gets it. And that would have been the kill that they needed over towards the Odessa side in order to come back into this one. But now still left with 5 versus 3. These EG players are starting to smell blood in the water. As these sharks are getting near their prey, opening up the wall now with Sanity. Spots out ahead and will down it. Kubi is on the ground. So if I'm not mistaken, he will perhaps get out of there. He will perhaps get over towards his teammate for that revive, which is needed, but no, perfect. Already takes him down through the drone hole, if I'm not mistaken. Leaving it into a 5 versus 1, as Akashi does fall down as well. Well, Ivan, you have not done much so far this game. You're bottom fragging on your team, but if you clutch this round, you definitely prove yourself to be one of the greats in this lobby. Already gets one for himself on the board.
If he gets a
Just
1v5
defuses.
clutch, this could like steal away the MVP status from Ryuji, as we do see him
Okay.
rotating below, but does end up getting taken down by Moritz at the top of those red stairs, as he is going to be just holding on for that rotation. Manages to secure it, and that's going to lead us to match point on the side of Empire on their map pick. 6-5
Wow.
though, still an opportunity for the side of
Wait,
Odessa.
no, this wasn't Empire's map pick.
Oh, was it not?
No, oh yeah, it was Empire. Sorry, I
Yeah.
got confused. No, you were right. I got confused for a second. Yeah, on their map pick now, finally finding that match point. Odessa just falling short again in this round. I feel like there's a pattern going on in the rounds where Odessa do lose, and it's a pattern of them just falling absolutely short, just falling flat, not getting any opening kills, going down 5-4, 5-3 in terms of their personnel. And it's just such a problematic pattern for them if they do want to get into this overtime.
Indeed it is, as I mean 6-5 it does look very good for the side of EG, but also can be very scary, especially with these players still doing well on the side of Odessa. If they're able to really pick things up coming into the remainder of this, then they are really going to be firing on all cylinders and creating a bit more of a mess for Empire than they may have expected coming into this.
This might be the round for Ryuji to step it back up again, to perhaps get a couple on the board, make sure that he's known on the server as one of those scary prospects to watch out for. Quint is there with the first contact over towards Fire Ghost. Nothing really happening so far over there, but over towards the other side of the map, we do see Perfect opening it up already with Ariana putting his 11th on the board. So speaking, some of those EG players have hit double digits already and are starting to near Ryuji in terms of score. Two of
Indeed
those
they
are
are.
Fire's Ghost and Perfect. Already making their way in towards that cash room, opening up the walls. And with 2 minutes still left, they've already gotten so much pace. Perfect goes for a peek, still has his nades in hand. But he's not going to be using them as he goes for the peek first. Now he does decide to go for a little hole, which he could throw a nade out through. But the nade will not do much as Ryuji backs off, gets the heck out of there.
And Ryuji didn't even take any damage in that scuffle. It was actually Perfect that suffered the brunt of it, as now that Flores drone isn't going to be doing much work, as he does take out the shield, but a Keeper Barricade soon follows, and now they've still got cover there. Another one comes through and does manage to deal with that Keeper Barricade, but as I said, once again, they are a little scared of the fact that Azami is still alive. She finds 1 kill. Now it's going to be an equal man count. This isn't the round you want to be losing if you're on the side of Empire, but they are just trying to desperately scavenge any sort of control that they can, but they seem to be struggling as time goes on.
The real problem here for Empire is that Forest Ghost has been taken down and Perfect is basically on 1 HP. These are the people that you are looking towards if you want a round like this to go in your way. Well, Perfect does take one in the grave with him, as Sanity will take one as well, and Nikon now goes in with his own. He's starting to need those double digits. He doesn't even get there. Sanity finishes it up, and EG will take their own map pick 7-5 against Odessa.
Yeah, very well played from the side of EG towards the end there. Struggling a little bit on the defensive half, but managing to pull it back quite convincingly on the attacking half at first. Then struggling a little bit for 2 more rounds, trading 2 for 2, and then moving on to the finale of the 2 rounds in a row that they won. Ending off Clubhouse 7-5. We are going to be just coming back to our caster cams. And big game from the players of Odessa, and also a couple of the players on the side of Empire. Primarily, Ryuji was the star of the show coming into that map, and realistically, if you're going to be going into your map pick, what is confirmed as your best map statistically in the entire league in your next map, and you've just managed to take them 7-5 on their map pick. Obviously, they've won it 7-5, but you've still managed to get 5 rounds on their own map pick, which is their own best map. You're looking confident coming into this round. You're definitely going to be looking confident.
You're looking really confident, and the other factor that you can look at is the fact that Ryuji was performing like an absolute animal in the beginning of that Clubhouse game. Now, the only thing I am worrying about for Ryuji is the fact that towards the end of that game, he fell flat completely. He was off the server. We didn't see him at all. The thing is, though, that does happen from time to time. If you do have a good day, you did do the warm up and everything, you're feeling it, then you're playing on a map that you don't necessarily like too much. The first half, okay, you have that side that you do like playing on, you do perform on your preferred side, and then you get over towards the other side and you just completely fall flat. All right, shit happens, brush it over with. You still have that performance to go off from the first half, and now going into your map pick, your best map, you have a chance to take that and to get it in there and to just use it and tear everyone up.
Well, indeed you do, and as you can see on the screen right now, we do have a bit more information on what's happened and what is going to happen. We do obviously see the 7-5 scoreline in favor of Empire, and then alongside that, we're going on to Theme, which is our next map. We just have a little we've just had our little conversation about the game that was just quickly played, and we are just going to cut to a 5-minute break just so we can all get refreshed and be ready coming into the next one. Thank you so much for watching so far. We'll see you in about 5 minutes with map 2, which will be Theme Park. Hello and welcome back to ESA Cup Season 6. I'm once again joined by TW, my lovely co-caster, and my name's Naj. I didn't say that last time, but I mean, I've casted a few times for ESA. If you don't know who I am, then you're probably new, which means welcome to ESA. We are a console league for the console scene of Siege, and we're just trying to expand the community, make sure that we have a bit of, well, make sure people realize that we do have a bit of traction on the console scene, and try and expand it as much as we can, bring people in, have a positive atmosphere, and have real competition. And that's what we're pushing for. So we are going to be jumping into Theme sometime soon, with Odessa versus Empire map 2. If you weren't here, spoiler alert, Empire did win out the previous map, which was Clubhouse, their own pick, which is statistically their best map in the entire league so far. And they only won it 7-5. So we're in for an interesting game coming into Theme Park, because we haven't really seen much of it from EG, if at all, inside of ESA. So we're going to be seeing them sort of on new footing. What do you expect to see, TW?
I'm expecting to see a game that could go either 2 ways. We could either see EG come up with some master plans, so tackling some genius stuff that does come through from Odessa, which they will have. Odessa's favorite map is this map. This is their most preferred map, their best map in this ESA league. So they will definitely be showing some master plans, but this could either be a game of EG showing that they could tackle those master plans and that they could work their way around that, or where a game where EG just fall completely flat. It's like that other game of Clubhouse we just had. We did see Odessa kind of tackling their way around what EG was doing, but it's a little bit different in the fact that EG hasn't played much theme park.
Yeah, definitely. We do see the knock ban come out, which is quite an interesting one for Theme Park. Theme Park, a very roam-heavy map, so obviously going to be taking out that Jackal as well. Dekebi's still going to be a big threat and still be on the board. Alongside that, we have other attackers like Ying, who are still on the board. More than likely, I reckon we'll see a Solace, pretty much guaranteed. And maybe followed along by a Fenrir or a Mirror. It really depends on what the team's feeling. Valkyrie, Fenrir, Mirror, but actually we're going to be seeing Castle. So
Ooh.
I think this is a strategy
Anti-strats.
ban. Yeah,
Yeah,
some sort of target
it
ban
is,
based around a strategy.
it is EG starting out on attack, if I'm not mistaken. So if EG read the script, if
I'm
EG
pretty sure
read
they were
their
starting on defense
VODs.
for both.
Oh yeah, sorry, it is EG starting. So wait, what are they anti-stratting then? And then Odessa is probably trying to anti-strat something that really works against their attacking side, against
More
what
than
they
likely.
usually is doing. They're trying to prevent something, but with that castle ban, because it is an ordinary pick. It's something that you did not see too much.
Yeah, definitely. As I brought up, Dekebi gonna be a huge threat in this game, as the roam
Yeah.
presence is quite heavy for those defenders. And well, Odessa have seemed quite confident at getting into the building and maintaining their positions. So more than likely, we're gonna see a bit of an aggressive play from their entries in the beginning of this round. We do see the entries are Krint and Ryuji coming into this game by the looks of their roster lineup. And they're probably going to have Akashi as more of a flex/flank watch with QB and IBAN on those hard breach and hard support. So we'll have to see how the side of EG do decide to adapt to the operator lineup being brought, but they are bringing along that operator that I brought up beforehand. Well, actually two of them, which is Valkyrie and Mirror. So a very informational hold coming out of the side of Empire. So
Yeah, just a very informational hold, a very safe hold as well. I love using mirrors. I love using mirror windows personally because they're just so safe to be playing behind and then being able to get a kill from it. Well, what isn't safe is whatever the hell Fire Ghost was doing. Okay, we are 5 seconds into the game and Fire Ghost has already fallen flat. He's already found himself having to spectate on his cams for the rest of the round. But over
if we
towards
see
the other
another
side,
race round one, I'll scream.
I'll scream as well. It's a good thing for Krint though, because I mean, there's a definite possibility actually. Krint is the entry, remember, because he's playing Iana, so the entry could definitely try to go for an ace or two here.
Yeah, definitely very aggressive on this attacking side. They are just going to be trying to maintain and gain as much control as humanly possible. They've pushed out this Cade into the corridor. He does manage to deal with 2 drones, which is going to be good for the information game, and he's just going to be rotating himself around to the yellow stairs, just making sure everything's okay. Has spotted out that C4 on the ceiling, so he's just going to be dealing with that to make sure he doesn't get caught out from below while he's not paying attention, as those Valcams are on side. So we'll have to see how they decide to adapt to the rest of this game, but Astra's already pushed all the way through into waiting, and it's just going to be dealing with the bulletproof that is going to be on the wall there. And yeah, we just see them getting this wall open, getting themselves ready for an execute. They're going to be maybe trying to get the plant down instead of hunting for these frags, but with that early pick onto the Valkyrie, you're now in a good position. You've taken out that MPX, and with it being such a powerful gun in this current meta, it's one that you want to sack off.
There's huge problems here for the EG side. I mean, they've still got the mirror windows to play behind. They've still got a little bit of utility to throw once this hit does start to come through. But they're starting to lose their men. They're starting to lose their footing in this round. Sanity will fall down. Ryuji will pick up his first one in this game. And the two top fraggers from that last game on the Odessa side will pick up the first couple of kills. Now Eban will tag one in as well. What a kill.
Nasty.
That's perfect. Does take down one, which will make it a 2 versus 4. Moritz still holding the line. His teammates have all fallen. He's got no one to ask for any help. He does manage to find one. That's a clean one, but with 20 seconds left, the defuse is now going to be getting planted. He's making his way in, and he gets another one on the fadeaway. He's heard the rappel in, but he's not aware of where the diffuser was getting planted from, as Eban from the door and from his side will take him down.
Indeed he does, securing the round for his team. The first round, just like the previous match, going to be going the way of Odessa. Very, very confident and competent attack, managing to get it down to a 5v3, and then already, even after losing 2 players, securing their own man and being able to bring it down to a 3v1 is so, so good. I mean, initially it was a 4v1, but either way, getting it down to that sort of 3v1 where you've got such a substantial man advantage is going to be very good for your team going forward. So being able to secure that momentum and bring yourself forward into the rest of the game is going to be a big boost for the side of Odessa.
Yeah, exactly. They managed to get themselves some really good footing, as I said. So they managed to get that little bit of wind in their sails so that they could just sail the seas forward, which is something that you need on a map like this, something that you really need on a map which you should feel confident on. If you can get that little bit of wind, if you can catch it, if you can just slowly sail the winds, you can easily take over a map like this and make sure that you get that best of 3 and make sure that you can get yourself a chance at maybe coming back into this. Odessa did a very good job at just hitting the side and just making sure they got those initial couple picks. Oh yeah, that's interesting.
That's so confusing. I don't understand this strategy at all.
Well, what do you mean?
Well, obviously they've got the mirror window there in order to try and counter the default site plan on the other one, but it's very weird considering you could try and control break instead. You could try and control office with that mirror window, but instead they're opting for the cafe and other site. They're doing sort of like a double mirror setup for the main site itself, but we did just see an ace, I think, teleport across the roof. I think that was a little lag on the observer side, but either way,
bit of siege stuff. But I do like the setup for Moritz though. You seem to not really be favoring it. I do kind of like the setup because you have Moritz worrying about the mirror windows, worrying about those 2 sides at the same time. Well, meanwhile, the rest, they can all just kind of do their own thing. They can all just kind of hold this initial big door, and make sure that the plan doesn't come through. That once that wall opens up, it's kind of all up to Moritz to really be that strong standing turret, which I feel like Odessa really is, EG really is relying on here. And then as well, something which they do need to rely on as well is Feuersko staying alive towards the end. If he can get that C4 from downstairs in order to stop a diffuser from getting planted, or in order to stop a couple entries from coming through, EG could perhaps get themselves in a good position.
Indeed they could. Nade comes through underneath the hatch to secure that there's nobody playing between those vending machines. Looks like Sanity didn't expect it, so very lucky that he's not in that position right now, but is going to be holding a crossfire alongside Perfect in order to try and kill any of these players that do try and make their way in through the double door. They do have the Valkyrie below ready with those cams set up in order to try and secure a C4 from below to deny this plant, but drone being dealt with by Sanity, as now Moritz going to be watching over this breach with that mirror window. Secures the sort of initial engagement onto the Yana clone. Don't want the Gemini coming in very far, but 2 players get downed as one actually does get confirmed. Oh,
What?
losing out. Kryn.
What a shot from Moritz!
Indeed. You can't be losing those, Kryn. You're supposed to be the entry. In comes Ryuji. the star player of the last match, going to be trying to contest against this mirror window. IBAN already proven his worth coming into this match so far, 5-0, as he is going to be securing himself on that leaderboard. Going to be watching the flank is Ryuji. Ryuji secures the man that was downed and also the player that was on the stairs. And that's going to give him another round of advantage on that top floor. Bunk not working out for the side of Empire.
Yeah, the Empire need to start switching it up a little bit. They're banking too much on this one strat that they have prepared of that little mirror strat that is so dear to them. I can see that it could potentially work out, but it's all up to that West Side stairs player, or up to that stairs player to stay alive as long as possible, to keep as much pressure of the mirror of Moritz for as long as possible, because else I feel like Moritz has so many angles to worry about. It's just going to be a real problem for him to hold on to the site. And that's something that Odessa really has taken care of so far. Really finding that weak point of this EG side. And now they finally do switch up over towards this throne room. It
Indeed
should
they
hopefully
do.
give EG a little bit more of a comeback into this game.
This, I would argue personally, this is a much stronger site for the defense than Bunk, but obviously some players do disagree with me. I think on the side of Throne, you really just play around defending your walls. Like, you can have like a complete anchor. You have so much versatility for the defense. Like, at the moment, it's a little worrying because if they're able to get in through barrels or through maintenance and actually make their way over towards the site, there is only Sanity that is sat there. But the actual site itself, you have that choice of a full turtle, you have that choice of a hard roam, you have that choice of playing your electrification on site in order to be able to deny these walls. If you're able to deny these walls, they've got to then funnel in through doorways, and if they're funneling in through doorways, you give yourself an advantage as a defender. And I mean, overall, I just think that this site is very good for them and could definitely be the sort of momentum maker for the side of Empire. But it looks like it's going to be Oryx to be tagged up first. Not sure who by, but he gets himself into a little bit of a scuffle. As now Capcan decides to rotate back over towards that maintenance area and have a little bit of a peek
That's a
through this
peek.
window.
Oh, but he gets downed. Oh, he
Indeed he
loses
does.
his life. He might be able to get to safe position. I do think that kill came from a lot of distance, so a revive should be in order right here for Forest Ghost. And yes, indeed, his mission will go successful. He will not lose his life by doing it.
What is
Stevie
Oryx
is
doing?
starting to make his way in. Oh, Krint gets that first one. Now he finally does his job as the entry. Something we did not see him last round, where he got absolutely turned on by Moritz.
Yeah, it looks like IBAN gets dealt with, but picked back up as well. So, but player on either side now going to be quite weak. One bullet from death as QB's just going to be opening up this hatch and trying to pepper some shots in through the... Oh, no.
The salt on top of the wound. Wow, that hurts.
The Capcan trap coming in clutch.
Another one.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
And now it's a
Oh,
4v1
man.
situation. Ryuji, all or nothing.
Yeah, EG have just found the... Oh, okay. Hold up.
Oh!
Ryuji, a shot and a half. As he does fall down at the end, but what a shot. I
That
mean,
was crazy.
you might be... Some people say controller players might be slow on those kind of flicks, but Ryuji is fast as... He's even faster than most PC players that I've seen. Holy shit. A flick and a half coming through from him, but it will not be enough to keep his team afloat for that round, as Odessa finally do lose out on a round. EG making their first baby steps in towards this first side of Theme Park.
Yeah. Ryuji making some of the plats that I play alongside look like babies.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm not
Attackers need
a goated player, but definitely making some of the lower ranking PC players look quite small. So
Lower
very well
ranking. I mean,
played.
I would say some of the mid ranking as well. I mean, that
Yeah.
was something I could see happening in plat or in
I
plat
mean, even
and
higher.
maybe diamond.
Ryuji could
Diamond, I think.
definitely build himself up on the PC scene, even if he does remain using a controller. So, definitely very well played by him in that position. That some of the shots he's hit over the past couple maps have been absolutely astonishing. But now both of those star players that are in this match so far are now 5-1 instead of the 5-0 that they were initially. So we'll be seeing a bit of a thwart coming out of the side of EG. And I mean, with how defensive favored this map can be and how much it hasn't been in ESA, I'm genuinely quite surprised that we're at a 2-1 scoreline in favor of the attack.
Yeah, I feel like it's just because EG was so stubborn in that first half, going for that bunk daycare side time and time again, which just wasn't successful. Actually, look at this. Already some action going on as Krint downstairs on Ariana will make way with those nades, trying to get rid of every single bit of utility that has been placed by this EG team. But he won't really find much.
Indeed. But very turtle setup from the side of Empire. They're not really drifting too far away from site, and I mean the players that are kind of hovering around break room and bunks, or yeah, break room and kids bunks. Is it kids bunks?
I think so, yeah.
Or is, oh no,
you
it's
shouldn't
bunks
quote me
daycare.
on
Bunks
call-outs.
daycare. He's playing
You
around
should not
daycare.
quote me on call-outs, so no.
He's playing around
That's the worst
bunks
thing. I'm the
daycare.
worst at.
So he's in the little daycare section right now with that keyboard barricade set up on the side of the little playpen as a nade does sing in, but gets caught out by a Wumai magnet. As now they're just going to be sending in some Flores drones to deal with any utility that they do have set up on this defensive side. Keyboard barricade going to be covering this waiting area, but Flores drone going to be dealing with it quite swiftly as they do move forward.
Yeah, oh, that should be finished. There we go. That's what Flores could be used for as well as getting rid of that utility. It gets rid of injured, pesky players that are standing on your ground, making it all bloody red. And another wallbang through it as Quibi finds his first kill of this round.
I do think that was a bit of a BM frag as well, like downing the player and bringing in the Flores drone. So potentially could be trying to enforce a bit of a negative mindset on the side of Empire, but they are just going to be playing quite aggressive, even though there is 2 players remaining. Mirror rotating round onto the top of Dragon, throwing out that C4 to see if she can deal with anybody, but isn't able to find anyone right now. Akashi finds one onto Moritz, and even though they've secured it down to a 2v2, they're now in a 2v1. Nikon going to be the last man standing as he is on this mirror. He's going to try and go for it, ends up losing his life to Akashi. And that is going to be another round in favor of Odessa.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be so clinical. Yeah, that was. You need to, man. You're making Eminem proud there. That was like a verse sort of ramp god, a verse sort of the intro ramp god. Not quite the double time part yet, but just the intro. That was absolutely insane. Just like Odessa's insane plays that they are just making over towards this attack right now, because EG, it seems like every single thing they are doing on their defense is just not working out. Odessa is just finding a little bit those weird angle ways, those weird those weird angles that they can hold together where they can just refrag of each other, and refrags aren't even necessarily needed because their aim is just shining through and taking them through it in these rounds that they are winning. You've only been able to find out one round earlier on, so I'm wondering if that's all that they're gonna find this half. Maybe once they do go back to the side that they did win that round on, we might see them repeat it again. But I feel like EG are just not in it this map at all.
I feel like there's definitely like a real struggle for the side of Empire right now. They're not able to really find any footing. Like obviously you've got players like Moritz, and it was very close in that previous round. But as a whole, the team isn't really able to actually do anything. Even in these advantageous situations, they've managed to gain the opening kill 2 rounds now in this matchup. And I'm pretty sure both of the rounds they got the opening kill, they lost.
Yeah.
So the one round they have, I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on this, we do have Musa in chat who is the main analytical guy for ESA, so maybe he'll know better. But I'm pretty sure the only round they've won, they didn't even get the opening frag. So it's looking a bit questionable for the side of Empire coming into the first half of this match. Obviously, only 2 rounds remaining, this one included, for this first half.
Well, I mean, a little bit of a utility exchange in the beginning of the round, which will cause 2 players to be down to 25
no.
HP. Corinth misses his nade, and that will make sure that that Valk player does not go away from the stairs, and Corinth eventually receives a bullet which will injure him. But an injure is all that will go, as Fires goes will have to be satisfied with that. He will not be satisfied with that, because immediately Ryuji will take him down with him knowing that position, with him knowing that Fires goes was most likely going to be backing off towards a more safe position. He just made sure to poke a little stick in between and to stop that from happening, to stop him from getting away and to just take him down. Now, what did seem like EG finding the first kill, what did seem like EG getting a little bit of a heads up in this round, it's been turned around completely. It's 180. It's in the complete other way of Odessa, as they do manage to get another one and another one. Akashi on this entry is just taking it down. Sanity and Nikon do get a kill each, as they are the lone defenders on each of their sides. A minute left to play with, and Nikon is just holding the line.
That's insane. I mean, Ryuji has to be hands down the man of the match so far. He 14-6 in the previous game, now 7-2 in the first half of this one. Only 4 rounds gone, so still might be able to equal the 2 kills per round performance that he put in the first half of the last match. But so far, 2 kills per round. If he finds this third one, he's at 2.333 or whatever. But he's going to be spotting out that Frost. He knows she's going to be hanging around daycare. She's going to be rotating back over to bunks, deals with another drone, but gets caught out by Akashi. And Sanity falls, giving another round in favor of Odessa. 4-1.
A strong round here coming through from Akashi, as he just takes his team on his back in order to guarantee that one. Wow. Odessa, if it isn't Ryuji doing work, we do see the other players in that team stepping up bit by bit, and we see now finally do actually get to see why Theme Park is their most favorite map here in the ESA Cup. They are tearing through this Empire side right now. The Empire is just not having a good time at all, and this is the defensive side, which, like you mentioned earlier on, Nash, in ESA here, defense of Theme Park is the most favored side.
Yeah, definitely. They are going to be on the side of Odessa, as you said. All really finding their footing so far. Like QB had a little bit of a struggle in the previous match, but kind of picked up towards the end, and so did Crunt. Crunt actually ended on a positive KD, which is, I mean, with how low he was in the first half, it's quite good. So looking at how this match is going so far, Crunt has taken a bit more of a backseat. Ryuji is still popping off as ever, and Iban managed to find his footing in the first couple of rounds, alongside Akashi, who has now managed to get himself a triple kill on the last round, bringing himself to 6-3. And these players are going to be looking to really come back with a vengeance here after losing the previous map. If they're able to secure this 5-1, it's almost a free win. As really, it's so hard as an attacker to really pull anything back if you do start at a disadvantage. So I imagine that, well, Empire are going to be sweating here, trying to secure themselves this round to actually break away with a win first. Getting the first kill, managing to find the thermite, which is going to be very good for your team, as you have now secured those breaching charges that are going to be bursting through that maintenance wall. But they do manage to trade it back, as Moritz manages to find Akashi.
They've done a good job at finally getting the first couple kills and finally finding that first little advantage here on the defensive side. And they do it again on the one side that they found success on earlier on. Ryuji is now making his way in on alone over towards this the hallway, droning everything out. yellow corridor, the yellow stairs. There's a Mozzie waiting around. That's perfect. Should have been spotted if I'm not
He is known.
mistaken.
He is known.
Yeah, he is known. So I feel like once he gets activated, we're definitely gonna see a little kill, a little switch, we could see a switch in the advantage right there, as Ryuji does find another one.
Yeah, Empire really, really want this. So, I mean, looking at how it's gone so far for the side of Empire, they are looking pretty good in the rest of this round, but obviously they lost that Mozzie on the yellow stairs. They are going to be making their way in to the split area. Odessa, Ryuji actually gets downed. Oh no, QB gets downed, and then Ryuji gets followed up on by the Oryx on the backside of site. 4-2 split in favor of Odessa is going to be very good going on to this defensive half. So now we're going to be seeing them in their prime. They're going to be sat there on these very heavily defensive favored maps, defender favored sites. Well, in other leagues at least. Because we've seen a bit of an upset in ESA. So potentially we'll be seeing a little bit of that coming back. But either way, you're going to be feeling comfortable with a 4-2 split, especially coming off the attack on Theme Park.
Yeah, definitely. And as well, with everyone just warming up ever so slightly into this map, into this best of 3, you're really gonna start to feel comfortable. If you get this first or these first 2 rounds on the board, I feel like Odessa and Empire here might just already start to think about this next map. They already might start thinking about map number 3 in this best of 3, which then Odessa, in my opinion, do seem to be in the most favorable position. Riju is tearing up the scoreboard today. There seems to be no stopping him, and the rest of the team is starting to wake up as well. Over towards Empire, I don't really think that anyone is necessarily taking over, that anyone necessarily is steering the ship in the right direction, other than Moritz perhaps showing up with a couple double kills, maybe a triple kill, or whatever he has done so far in this game. He's not really done much either way. It's just been pretty quiet from Empire here. They need a couple players to wake up in this second map, because then their doomsday or their problems will definitely be less.
Well, I mean, we do see there isn't a mirror on side for the defense this time, but instead they've put a Kashi on the Warden, and Warden is one of those operators that is very much feared because you have that gun in hand, you have the MPX for clarification, and also, well, you have a 1.5x. It's like one of the most heavily preferred entry fragger sites, as you are able to take a couple more long-range engagements. And, I mean, as a defender, having a ranged scope, for example, the 1.5 times scope, or the 0.5 times scope, as people call it for short, yeah, it's just going to be ideal for you.
Nade, good from Perfect as he throws a perfect Kobe onto the first. The Sledge already finding one. Actually, no, that's not the Sledge, that's Iana. Ryuji now holding the line together with that Wamai Krint. He's not done too much this second map. He was standing on top of the scoreboard in that first one. Now he's kind of fallen flat. He's kind of fallen quiet. We'll have to see if he can hold the line with Ryuji. Krint does manage to pick up the first, and as Fires goes down, that's the Sledge, the second entry out of the count. Sanity now firing a couple bullets, will manage to down Krint. Ryuji has to get out of there as he's aware of the pressure coming towards him. The entire east side has been given up, and Odessa have to kind of tuck tail, in my opinion, at this very moment, if they do not want to lose too much. Either that, or they commit another man in order to try to pull it back and then hope that that man could get out of there. Yeah, that's indeed what he will be doing. Ryuji gets another one with that C4. That's his double kill for the round. But down to low HP, and Sanity will take him down. That's the heavy hitter now out.
I mean,
Odessa are a man down into the latter stages of this round.
I do agree, but that Warden, that man with a gun in hand, available, ready to take any of these engagements. And you also have the 516 as well, which is
That's
another very
at the time.
threatening gun, or 416, sorry, which is another
Yep.
very threatening gun. There is only 10 seconds left on the clock. Iban finds one, Akashi finds another, and that's going to be that gun really coming into fruition here as he manages to take a long-range engagement onto the yellow stairs, secures his kill onto Moritz, and now we're watching the kill cam.
Man, that was. I feel like Odessa didn't have any grip into that round, other than the fact that they were just getting rid of so much time. The entire round was just based off that long ass roam fight over towards that balcony, which took basically half a year essentially for Empire to really wiggle their way in through, to really get that 3 versus 2 on the board. Empire are not clinical at all. This is a bad sign for them going forward on this attack, for them going forward on this map, because a normal team should have been able to clear that out within a minute and a half. I think they took about 2 minutes in order to clear all of that out, then being there for 30 seconds to hit the site. You're just going to be split up in a mess of comps and a mess of players just wanting to do their own things and no real clarity when the time is taken that low. And Odessa will take advantage of that.
I mean, yeah, definitely. At the moment, we are looking at a position, and I'd like to add to what you said. With it, yes, it doesn't look good in this map. Yes, it doesn't look good in these rounds, but it also doesn't look good for this series, as we are going to be going to a third map if Odessa do win out this one. And I mean, with the last map being Cafe, a very even map for both of these teams, as neither of them have really had a major showing on it. We're going to be looking at a bit of an unknown sort of situation.
Yeah.
And if you're already at a disadvantage, your mental's not going to be great, your strats are going to be underwhelming, underperformed, and Krint's already losing a bit of HP on the side of Odessa, which is going to be very good for the side of EG, as now he does have to fall off. But, yeah, it looks very scary for the side of EG if they do end up losing this match, because the mental game is going to be pretty much completely won and completely won by Odessa.
Yeah, you need some momentum in order to get yourself back into a best of 3 like this, especially after a map that you get absolutely stumped on. If you can get a little bit of momentum, a couple of individuals to step it up, then the last map of Cafe could definitely be looking a little bit better for Empire. But because their own map pick was so close, because Odessa is absolutely stomping them on Odessa's own map pick, EG are in a world of trouble for that third and final map. If it does get to that, we do have to wait a little bit before we do get to that, because EG is making it a little bit hard for Odessa. The first one is there to fall as Kubi is holding the entire toilets with his Kaiba barricades. Fires goes will now eventually fall. That's the sledge down. Kubi finishes him up. Odessa is starting to come back in. Once again, Iban will forget himself a double kill as he holds the line. Moritz only gets one back. And Moritz is the one that has been fragging out the most for Empire. But is it enough? Is it enough to make this comeback? Enough to keep Odessa from finding match point in this best of 3? We'll have to wait and see. There's still a minute left on the clock. And a lot of work to do for these last 2 attackers.
Yeah, not looking promising for the side of Empire now, as that player is still hanging around on those yellow stairs, almost gets taken out, but manages to duck the stream as he does force Perfect into rotating over to the opposite side. Akashi doesn't quite realise that he's coming through, and now it looks like
he's found a way.
Perfect could be in a bit of a power position here as he's managed to get his way all the way through security. There is going to be a player behind the shield.
He's
that he
close
has to
to
worry about.
Moritz. No, he goes to Moritz too early. Now they know. Now they're aware. Perfect only gets one as he does get in, but Perfect gets another one, and now the plan should be able to come through. Iban is the last one standing. Half HP for him. 8 kills. He has to make a double digit if he wants to win this one out, getting his way in closer towards the connectors. But the diffuser has been planted as Moritz is still holding the angle. It's the 2 top fraggers on this Empire team that are doing it right here. Perfect on the first map, Moritz on the second one to keep them from getting over towards that match point. Moritz is still holding the angle, trying to toy around with the idea of Iban getting closer, but Iban does not get that triple. He doesn't go for the quad. He just goes flat out. The double is over. He will get, as Moritz will finish it up. An absolute amazing entry over towards the end from those attackers.
Indeed, managing to secure that. Empire do get themselves a third, as they've just been struggling heavily throughout the rest of this match. We are still at a 5-point scoreline for the side of Odessa, so only one round away from a potential match point, unless we do reach overtime. So they're not too worried. Just going to be, I think, returning to the same site or returning to Throne. I didn't see. I imagine it'd be one of the two, as they have chosen to return to the same site. Probably putting a little bit more pressure onto the security side for the late round rotation, so more than likely going to be a bit more presence over that side on the initiation site. But on the side of Office, we are probably going to be seeing relatively the same hold. We'll have the Azami over there, we'll have the Jaeger on main stairs, and they're just going to be covering through each other. But at the moment, just a little bit of setup going on, as they are just going to be, just getting themselves ready for the oncoming onslaught that Moritz seems to be trying to bring to them in the last couple of rounds. We do have Moritz on that Thatcher once again, just dealing with those default cams and making sure he's able to get himself into an optimal position to get over to where he needs to be. Is going to be just jumping up onto the roof alongside the sledge. The ace, well, the entire team actually, as they are just going to be droning what they need to and using whatever utility needed to open up these hatches and get a bit of roof control going on. But we are just looking at a bit of a stalemate right now, as both of these teams are just kind of like sitting still, playing their position, and just trying to make sure, as a whole, they're just able to maintain and control whatever they need to.
Yeah, the attackers just figuring out where the defenders are playing, figuring out what angles and what kind of sidelines they need to take in order to efficiently get rid of where the roamers are playing initially, and maybe even going for something fast, because there's a heavy roam play. Krint is actually the first one to get one on the board, as Nikon does fall down. That's bad news for EG. Remembering they are one away from going down against an Odessa match point. Perfect is now making his way in with Indiana, trying to see if he can clone out one of those players. Moritz is there with an entry, but immediately gets traded out from Eban. Perfect is actually making his way, and those steps have not been heard, but oh no! What? The player gets down by Ryuju, and then Perfect finishes his own teammate up. Oh my god, that just hurts. He's now the
It
last
looks like
one
these two players
standing.
have traded in break room, sorry.
Yeah, with just a little bit of a wank off there. But actually, now Perfect should be able to go for the rest, because it's confirmed that both two of the down right there. It's confirmed that Kirby is not anywhere near. He's still not finished up the players, so that's actually info going over towards Kibu. In the meantime, eventually he does get that kill coming through now. Yana Cologne to try to spot out where Kibu is playing.
Yeah, and the drone for the sledge going to be coming up those yellow stairs as well, so potentially going to be spotting out this Azami as she does make her way back into waiting and keep herself safe for now. As she does rotate over to this hole over here, going to be playing the shield from the opposite side, seeing if she can secure anybody as they try and get the entry, but has a little bit of awareness onto a couple of these players as Diana was being openly scanned.
She's let him go past. She's let him go. Oh no, she shot. Why did you have to shoot? That just ruined it all. Now your position is known, and yeah, now you're not going to be crossing Fire Ghost. He's holding your line. He's read the book, and it's an easy children's book to read at the end, because you've just completely given away exactly what you were gonna be doing. I mean, you did let them go past initially, and instead of just going for the pick, instead of just trying to turn it into a 1v1, you play it pretty decently, but then you shoot and you give away your position. Fire Ghost, he will take advantage of that.
Indeed, we do see these players. I mean, they put themselves in a position where they were able to really try and do something, but eventually kind of like fell off as it progressed. Maybe a little bit of a whiff almost for the sledge as the Azami did try and run past, but overall managed to secure it for himself as the Azami hesitated. But moving into this round, the comeback for the side of Empire isn't entirely off the cards, and we could end up with a similar scoreline in favour of Odessa that we saw in the previous match, which was 7-5. So we do need to see Odessa try and actually win out a few of these rounds if they are going to bring us to map number 3. But at the moment, it's looking promising for either side.
Yeah, EG are starting to set more questions into my mind as we do keep this going. But every single round they do get, I'm starting to wonder ever so slightly more, can they actually pull it off in that map number 3? If we do get that, can they actually maybe even pull off this best of 3 and make it a best of 2? Can they maybe even pull it back here on Theme Park? As they are strong here, but still the only lingering thing is in my mind is the fact that this is defender side of Theme Park, and it should just be going in the way of the defenders. It should just be going in the way of Odessa here. But
Indeed it
EG is
should.
showing signs of life.
Well, yeah. Indeed, it should be going the way of Odessa just in general, but obviously with it being their map pick, their best map in the entire ESA Cup, and also just them being on the defensive side when statistically across other leagues, this map has been generally defender-sided. So, especially on PC at least, I'm not too sure about the destability that is
I don't think there would be
within the
much
difference on
change.
console. I
In
don't
terms
really
of
either.
in terms of size, like strats kind of stay the same. I mean, they might be adapted a little bit to like adapt for the controllers and stuff, but still, these you can see it. These controller players are flicky. They're fast. They have the aim. It's not like we're watching that old controller player style from like 5 years ago, where it was just miles away from PC. It's near PC. It is very close right here. And I don't think that there's going to be much change either tactics or anything, or those or whatever like half is favored going from PC to console.
Yeah, I mean, just to expand on your point, the only real disadvantage that a controller player has is the fact that you use much smaller muscles to use a controller, so those muscles aren't able to build up muscle memory as well and things like that, which is why people do the argument of, controller is worse than mouse and keyboard.
Yeah,
because
you could say it's less precise
statistically-
as well, though.
Statistically, because of the precision, because of the muscle memory, because of everything else, it does end up like falling under that category. But with how people have adapted in the recent years and have managed to pull themselves forward, they do look a lot better. Trades are actually coming either way now as Iban actually gets down in this position. One player drops down the hatch. It's going to be the Flores of Moritz who actually gets taken out, but the Finker is going to still be alive, still remaining, manages to secure that kill onto the player that is hovering around on the opposite side of site. And now it's a 1vx, 1v2 clutch in Krint. And is he going to be able to secure it against these two full health players?
It's
I
1
mean,
HP though.
The clutches haven't been very successful as of this point.
Oh wait!
But he makes his way through, manages to secure the kill onto the ace as he pops back up from placing that diffuser. And is he aware of this location that the Finker's going to be playing in? She is going to be behind this half wall inside of the daycare site. Are they going to be able to
Is he
spot
DC'd?
each other out? I'm not sure.
He DC'd. He DC'd for a second there. Yeah, he did. He did. You can see it on his radar. You can see it on the fact that he's not moving. Krins, on 5 HP, on low HP. He's trying to pull off the clutch, but his internet is just not working with him. Now he is trying to pre-fire where the Finker was playing previously, but she's already moved. She's already slithered her way out of the site. And yeah, it's become absolutely impossible for Krint. And EG equalize it on Theme Park, the Odyssey favorite map from this ESA tournament, or from this ESA league.
Well, I mean, a bit of an unfortunate lag disadvantage coming out of the side of Odessa, but especially in a genuinely possible clutch after securing that ace kill. But we are going to be seeing them move forward, move past this, probably a little disgruntled by the sort of unfortunate prospect that just unfolded. But either way, just trying to move forward as best as possible, bring themselves to match point more than likely in this round, really trying to do so, and then hopefully for their sake, winning out this map to take us to the third, and that is where the real show begins, as it comes down to an all or nothing.
Yeah. It just came down to the all or nothing at the end. And EG, they managed to get that 5-5 on the board. They managed to actually put on even bigger question marks in my mind. If are Odessa actually as strong as they do seem to? Because in my mind, they seem to be really strong. They just have those weak links right now for them going on for them right now. And those weak links are Krint and Kobe not showing up at all. Kobe is still on 3 kills. Krint is on 5, and they're currently just not pulling their weight. They're being a real nuisance for their own team at this very moment. And if you look at the other side, EG, they're all starting to look way better. Their entire team is hanging a little bit more near each other in terms of the kills, a little bit higher. It's not such a big discrepancy between their bottom hanging or the first place and their bottom place or their bottom place in kills.
Yeah.
Odessa have to start worrying here. They have to start waking up. Moritz has spotted out a player in front of that window. It's going to be a real big problem, as nades are being prepared.
Flashbang sings in through that cash door. Just going to be seeing if any ADSs or magnets are going to be hovering around. They do deal with that Keebler barricade from the cash door, and now the Gemini replicator is going to be making its way in through the door. Finka actually going to be quite low HP after a quick little gunfight with somebody. Unsure who she actually spotted out there, but I assume it would have been the one Mai that is hovering around Top Dragon, which is Kryn. But now, with the Keeper barricade still inside of Cash, it's a bit scary for them. Nikon going down, followed soon by Perfect, as now they're going to be in a position on the side of Odessa where they have a perfect advantage. They've taken out both of these entry fraggers, and all they've got left to deal with is the remaining execute operators. They've got themselves a 2-man advantage. They've still got 5 players alive, and they're able to find one more as Fuerghost does end up falling to Ryuji, bringing himself back up to that 14 kill mark that he was in the previous match. As we are moving into the remainder of this round. Do you want to take it away?
Yeah, I can take it away, but there's not much to talk about. As Sanity will start to lose his sanity towards the end. The comeback seeming ever so slightly possible, but here towards the end, it does seem like Odessa will at least start to run away with it a little bit as they do get that match point. Moritz gets one on the board, but Ryuji, the fragger, is there to finish it up. He stays on full HP, and I think he got himself that triple kill in this round. So he's absolutely doing a good work. And once again, though, it is one player really taking it apart or really finishing it up for this Odessa side. The only good thing I do have to talk about them is the fact that Krint was one of the people that got one of those initial picks on the board, which did just heavily turn the tide into their favor that round.
Yeah, unfortunately for those singing against it, we are going to be going to Bunk Daycare once again, bringing us to this match point on the side of Odessa. If Odessa are able to secure this for themselves, they do move forward into map number 3. If they do lose out, they have to then get themselves up to 8 points or 8 score in order to be able to secure themselves a victory for this map. So it's looking quite close at the moment. 6-5 on the scoreboard, as I mean, the side of Empire are actually going to be bringing along a much more aggressive lineup. They've got the Finker on side. They've got the Amaru alongside that. They've got the Yana, but looks like we're going to be switching back onto Flores for one of those players, which is Nikon, as we come into this round on Bunk Daycare. Ryuji 15-7 right now.
Damn.
Bomb and defuse it.
15 and 7. That's just a KD of more than 2 in this entire map. And last game, he was on that same wavelength as well. He's just showing that he's the real outstander on this team of Odessa. The real one that you want to watch, or that you need to keep your eye on going forward. Your eyes. Well, I mean, one of the eyes is actually going to be plucked out from Eben, as Perfect does manage to take that one out. That's the first one going in the way of EG. It's a good one to start us off with, because they need to find this one in order to get themselves into overtime, and in order to perhaps take this map away from this Odessa side. If they can get another one, it would really be impactful, as they are starting to make their way in ever so slightly, clearing out that util from Cafe. As Nikon on their floors will be getting rid of all of those little traps, all of those little things that the defenders have set up in order to stop them from getting anywhere near these bomb sites. With 1 minute 40 still left on the clock, it's just a bit of a stalemate. These attackers trying to drone out where the defenders are playing, what the defenders are really setting up here for, and just a little bit of showing, or just both teams not really showing each other's cards before the entire deck gets shown. It's Perfect will get taken down. Krint will find another one, but immediately gets traded out by Moritz. It's another one on the board.
I mean, yeah, but being able to equalize in this situation is perfect for the side of Odessa, especially losing that initial engagement. So starting on a bit of a disadvantage, you're not going to be very comfortable in this matchup. You do have Sanity on those break room windows, just seeing if he can spot anyone through that rotation hole. And Ryuji going to be quite aggressive on this cafe door, going to be waiting to see if anyone decides to peek. There was a Flores over there a moment ago, and he is going to be standing on the arcade window now, waiting for the hop-in. Notices the drone, but moves away as he does get flashed out.
Oh.
The hop-in thwarted by Ryuji as Nikon gets taken down. Alongside that, Moritz is soon to follow, manages to find one is Sanity, but ends up losing out himself to QB. And now, we are going to move to map number 3, which is Cafe. We are going to be having a little break between this and the next, but we'll just have a little discussion beforehand. My camera is slightly off kilter, and it's really bothering me.
Yeah, you go fix your camera real quick, Nash.
It's fine.
It's fine. I'll take over real quick. But yeah, again, a heavy showing from Ryuji. An absolute carry of a showing from Ryuji for his Odessa side once again. As they do go 7-5, we have a repeat of that first map. Both these teams really fighting tooth to nail for elimination in this tournament. I feel like Odessa really are a team that currently has a little bit of momentum going into the banks, as they did start off really great on that theme park side, but as well, EG clawed their way back into it. EG did not seem to want to give up, so they at least showed that resilience of, okay, once we are losing a map, we're not just going to give it up that easily.
Oh, yeah, there we go, fixed. So what I was saying was, both of these teams going to be moving on to map number 3. Potentially, we could be seeing an overtime game, depending on how close it's been, as both teams have won their own map pick, but very, very close. 7-5 on both maps, differentiating in the favor of both of the teams. But on Cafe, it is going to be, well, I doubt it's going to be a complete whitewash, so we'll have to wait and see, I guess.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Let's head into a little breakdown, Nash, before we do head into that cafe, into that decider whether to see whether who gets to go further into the tournament and who gets eliminated. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back with you in 5 minutes.
Hello and welcome back once again to ESA Season 6. We're in a best of 3 Empire versus Odessa. I am joined once again by TW. My name is Naj. But the big thing is both teams have won their own map picks. Anyone that remained here before the break that we just had will know that this is going to be the final map of this best of 3. We're going to be going to Cafe, and it is going to be a banger, an absolute spectacle. Both teams have won their own map picks, but it was 7-5 both ways. And I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, I'm very excited too to see what's going to be happening between these two teams, as it is elimination here in this ESA Cup 6 in the hands for both of these teams. Whichever team loses right here in this last map is going to be out for the count for the tournament. They're just going to be out. And well, it's gotten to the very last map. We've seen both first map get to 7-5 each. It's been a same showing from each side as we're just waiting for the game to get started. And well, man, Nash, I cannot wait to get into this one because we've seen some great individual showing so far from either sides, especially from Odessa, where we have the one and only Ryuji. Nash, what can you tell us about Ryuji?
Well, the guys dropped like 15 kills both maps, even on the losing side of the first map. So I mean, it's kind of crazy how phenomenal this player has been during this series. But we are going to be heading into our game. Something I am going to quickly mention is the fact that this is the first of a couple best of 3s that have been played. The first best of 3 that has gone all the way. So
and it's with the classic Voltage League deal where we had so many best of 3s. We had a lot, or no, actually, we had best of 2s, didn't we? I can't quite remember.
We had some best of 3s, which did end up going all the way. We are it's the first one of 4. I've just been informed by production. So we are just in the operator bans right now. I think there's a little bit of a delay on us rotating over, but you are able to see the map video now. Knock has been banned out by the defensive side. I'm unsure which sides are actually starting on this on this decider map, but we do see Jackal falling off as well. Again, a map with 3 floors. I mean, Theme Park doesn't have 3 floors, but this is a map where roaming is a very heavy part of a lot of the holds. We're going to be seeing Mirror get taken out. Mirror very good for that top floor and middle floor hold when it comes down to putting them up on the top. And now we're on to the last ban, which is pretty much definitely going to be Solace. Like, if you don't ban Solace on Cafe, you're kind of throwing or planning to play her in a strat, which isn't really worth banning her out. Azami, I stress this all the time, that Azami, I would actually say on this map in particular, is a better ban than Solace. For the very simple reason how powerful she is at just being able to hold these rooms. You bring a Wamai, you bring a Jaeger, they're so difficult to deal with if they're placed in the right positions in Piano, in Bakery, and having the Cuba barricades there as well just makes it even harder as an attacker to actually be able to do anything. So coming into this map, seeing that go off the board pretty much straight away is going to be a bit of a detriment for the defense on both sides. So we'll have to see how both of these teams adapt on their defensive halves.
Exactly.
But as we can see, Empire start on the defense 3 maps in a row. Carry on.
Yeah, and I do kind of want to have a little talk about the fact that it's very interesting to see here that on console, Jackal seems to be a preferred ban in terms of the anti-roamer, and on PC, a lot of the times you see the preferred ban being Dokkaebi instead on that attacking side. So it's fun to see how a lot of the times most of the stuff is the same across both platforms, but there's a little bit of a variation in between what operators are preferred and what operators of course are good, because you have that Jackal which has an automatic gun, and you do not have that on Dokkaebi. It's most likely a little bit harder to play the Kebi on console than Jackal, I would imagine. So that's why we do see a lot of that Jackal bans coming through.
I
But
think
yeah,
another thing. I think another thing that comes into fruition is just generally the fact that there is less sound card support for console. So more than likely, the sort of audio calling isn't going to be as much of a detriment for the defensive
yeah,
side.
exactly. It does seem like a lot of the times we've had times where people has just sneaked up really easily. I feel like that console sound isn't necessarily rated great either. It doesn't necessarily see. I don't know how it is for the players, but it seems like the comms might be very polluted or whatever. But so a lot of the times these players have just been sneaked up on way too easily, and that's something that I've not seen too much on PC Siege. As we do now already see Odessa making their way in, opening up all the hatches, and having a look at their setup. They have a Flores, a Sledge, an Iana, and a Hibana. So Hibana for just for that D for the opening up a couple walls, maybe and stuff like that, and that Iana Sledge combo for the entry, as well as it's joined by Ryuji on that Ash, which is interesting to see that they have 3 characters more operated for for that entry. But so far, it's gone into a great succession as they do find Fire Ghost.
We're all good. I am. I was
Okay.
just quickly trying to change something up. There is a little bit of background noise on my microphone at the moment. If nobody has noticed, it's because I've got my sister in the other room. But either way, we'll try and persist as best we can without her
It's
being
fine. We
much of a
didn't even hear
distraction.
it. I didn't even hear it, so you should be all good.
But we are seeing the Habana of Iban gonna be, or Iban gonna be, just opening up those freezer walls, just giving themselves a bit of a sight line through into the freezer itself. Which, I mean, Odessa have a beautiful advantage right now, and Ryuji hitting a shot like that is going to be very, very nice, especially when they know you've dropped. Iban going to be getting that plant down, and Moritz going to be trying to take the swing onto Ryuji on that Ash. We're going to be seeing another player go for it. Ryuji falls, and I mean, with
Wait a
diffuser
second.
down,
Hold up. They find a couple picks. They might be able to get back into this. They are down to low HP, or at least one of them is. Moritz is making his way in, opening up that castle barricade. Now trying to poke up a couple shots for finding these attackers, finding where these last couple players are positioned. Oh, Moritz, Perfect almost finds his way in there on the castle, but he's not aware of where Iban is playing and doesn't hit the shot quick enough. Iban there on that barring, finishing it up, and that's going to be the first round in Odessa's favor here on Cafe.
indeed it is. I mean, Odessa winning the first round on every map so far, bringing in such a dominant performance in the early rounds of every single map. And I think that is like a really big thing coming into a best of 3 like this, where you've got the team of Odessa who, yes, have a little bit better of a win rate, by like 4 or 5%, but just in general have come from this sort of lower end of the Swiss stage and are now trying to push their way forward. They will have to go into another best of 3 even if they win this, but it is looking ever so much more promising as we come into this last map, and they're still able to consistently win out those first rounds, and Ryuji winning out the opening engagements.
Yeah, the only thing that I would have to counter against that is the fact that I feel like they're very momentum heavy. They're a team that at times can feel like if they can get Ryuji to frag out, and if he can get a couple rounds where he really builds strength, then they start taking a couple, then they start being strong. But if he doesn't get on the board, if Ryuji, or if they don't necessarily find that success, they seem to be a little bit dull from time to time. I'm really hoping that we don't get to see that dull Odessa here in this third map. I'm really hoping that we can get to see that momentum heavy, and perhaps even a Odessa that whenever momentum is not in their favor can get a round back once or twice. And if we can get to see that Odessa, they can take this map they can get this against Empire.
I mean, indeed. But, I mean, at the moment, we have seen it kind of flip-flop between a couple of the other players on the side of Odessa, with Iban having a pretty poor
Ooh.
performance in map 1, but then picking himself back up in map 2 and being able to actually secure some stuff for himself. Krint, the man who went 2-0 last round, is going to be downed inside of this top red sort of area, and it looks like QB maybe wants to try and get the drop down to give him a hand, and is going to be going for the res. The mute going to be falling off. Doesn't look like he wants to try and take an aggressive stance on this right now, but is going to be trying to go for the peak. Almost takes out the twitch, but ends up getting caught by the hatch player above. And now we see a position where Odessa are in their prime. They've managed to find themselves an opening frag, and they are just going to be able to apply this pressure wherever they need to coming forward. They are just throwing in a couple nades, dealing with the mute jammer that looks like it was on the red wall. They have spotted out that player in Cocktail, which is going to be the Frost in the same position as where Ryuji caught him last time. But speaking of Ryuji, he gets his head taken off by that player, going to be hovering around on the bathroom side. But now a bit of a scuffle coming out of Akashi and himself as they drop down onto top red.
No way, Crin, that hurts. Did he down his teammate with that as well? I wonder
I
if
think
he
so.
did. Yeah, Sanity will take advantage of that. He will take that with open arms. And now these last couple of Odessa players find themselves on the back foot as they try to make their way in. 20 seconds left.
Oh, excuse me,
Akashi's
sorry.
trying to find an angle. That's all good. As perfect. We'll tape down another one. Iban now down perfect. Oh, through the chair. That is a nice way to take down the very last player and guarantee that you're not going to get killed if you're low HP.
Exactly. Managing to secure that for his team brings us to 1-1. Once again, a very even scoreline coming into the early side of this matchup. But something we did see in the previous map is a 4-2 split going the side of Odessa. So potentially could be a 4-2 split going the opposite way this time, as we did see the 3-3 in the first map, a 4-2 in the second map. Maybe we'll see the side of Empire finally take the lead in the first half.
That would be very, very interesting to see. I want to see Empire take this one back. I want to see Empire show me some of that that German, what's it called, consistency, or that German power that some people speak about in the siege scene, where they can seem so dominant from time to time, and where they can seem to be where they can just take maps on their backs quite easily. I feel like that is something that in their community they do a lot, but so far EG have not really been that consistent in this map either. I feel like both teams here are quite equal in terms of their consistency. They're a little bit up and down from time to time. Sometimes one team really gets a couple rounds in a row. Sometimes the other team does, and it's all about the momentum. Now, hopefully, this game will be a little bit different. Hopefully, this game will be one where we see the teams actually going back and forth and really having a head-on clash with each other, instead of one team just winning out 3 rounds in a row and the other one then winning out 3 or 4 rounds in a row.
Yeah, I do agree. They are going to be doing a top-down clear, even though they are going to be on that bottom floor site. We do see this gridlock just hovering around on the top. She's going to be opening up the hatches, and there is going to be a player hovering around. I think it's Moritz that is actually over there in the cigar shop. But after opening the hatches, it looks like gridlock is just going to be falling off and playing around this window on the red stairs, throwing out the soul shredders, unable to actually get one down the stairs. But tries to take a little bit of a scuffle through the wall against the player that fired back, and now just going to be trying to help with Ryuji controlling on this wedding side.
Yeah, Quibi actually doing a lot of work. Something that people have to keep in mind. Oh, sorry. People that are watching have to keep in mind. If you're looking at his stats, he's 0-2, but he's doing a lot of that support work. He's doing a lot of that work that you're not necessarily seeing a lot of the time. So it's fun that the observers
The flank.
actually get a look at that. Oh, actually. Yeah, look at the flank. The flank is coming in.
Player on red stairs got a little bit aggressive for a second there, but decided to fall
Yeah.
off and hold it for now. Looks like possibly shot out the track stingers that were hovering around in the corridor, but instead going to be rotating up those stairs
Oh,
to
they have
maybe
free
take a
side.
bit more of an advantageous position. As now QB going to be moving all the way through.
They have an open
Potentially.
side. The only one in here is Jaeger. The only one in the back of that freezer was Jaeger. He's just now moved up a little bit as he's trying to poke out peak shots everywhere. But now they're closing in on him. They're getting ever so slightly closer. Real console moment happening as they're just starting to fire shots each and every way. But Quibi actually does make clean work of it at the end.
Oh,
Hits that shot cleanly over towards the red stairs, and that's going to be Odessa just finishing up this round, unless Fires Ghost has anything to say about it. Double kill for him already on the board, and with 30 seconds left, he does go all the way around towards the other stairs to perhaps make his way down over to the diffuser. No, I mean, he doesn't have too much time to go for this. He really needs to get a kill right now. Runs away from Quibi, or runs towards Quibi as Quibi. He will just take him down at the end.
and I mean, what was that? Was that a quad kill on the
I
round?
think it
Yeah, it
was.
was. That was a quad kill on
Yeah.
the round for QB. And I mean, a player that
QB.
we've seen very, very, very dormant throughout the previous two maps is now going to be picking himself up and bringing himself in with a vengeance in this third and final map of this series, bringing his team to 2-1 in that round, pretty much single-handedly, as we do move into the next.
Attackers need to locate.
Yeah, I was just last round talking about QB having low stats and him just doing support work and being a little bit more in the back line. But well, I mean, Caster's luck, I guess, because he just takes the round apart for himself. He gets 4 kills, absolutely tears up that EG side, and they'll now find their second round on this attacking side. Odessa starting it off strong, which what they will need to be doing. Again, EG are going back towards that downstairs freezer side, so they want to try to improve on what they did wrong last round, and something I do have to already be looking at if I'm EG here on what went wrong was the amount of players that were anchoring towards the sides in the initial stages of the round. We saw a lot of people kind of roaming around, whereas usually whenever I see people on this freezer side, you see you see 3 players kind of hanging around on the side, and then maybe a couple roamers. They decide to be a bit more roam heavy, and it's cost them the first round, in my opinion. They don't seem to make any changes towards the second one, so we'll have to see if this one will bear any changes.
Yeah, at the moment, I can't imagine it bearing any fruits right now, but there is going to be a real top-down clear coming out of Odessa this time, as they have got a few players above these hatches, rather than just the one of QB. And Krint just going to be holding that long angle down the stairs, dropping down through the hatch to get a bit more clearance along the way. But, I mean, I think the only players upstairs are across the opposite side, so he's got pretty much free reign of this entire top floor as he does make his way over towards White Corridor, where the players are going to have a potential sightline onto him. He's made his way to the door and is going to be taking the peek onto the player that is going to be hovering around on those white stairs. The drone spots him out and he is just going to be running away as he doesn't manage to secure the drone kill there. And he does get the drone in the end, ends up falling off. Ryuji is the first one to find a kill, but the Warden of Perfect still going to be hovering around on that white stairs down the lower end. And Moritz going to be in the library.
Yeah, Moritz just the one that has to take a kill or two with him. As his position has now been known, he is starting to make way. He has to move up over a little bit. In the meantime, Perfect finds himself a kill. That's one going in the way of that Warden. Ryuji is starting to enter near one on the white stairs. A couple shots being exchanged, but not quite much of any danger, anything alarming. Oh, but actually Ryuji decides to go for this. He's running into 2 players right here. Perfect's actually been taken down. Now he's only running into 1. The Jaeger decides to drop from the hatch. I think Ryuji is aware of that. Yes, indeed, he is. Tries to catch him off. The timing doesn't go in his favor. In the meantime, Fires Goes finds one over towards Kobe. Kibi, what were you calling him again?
QB.
QB finds one over towards QB, and with 30 seconds left, Odessa have a little bit of a stalemate. First one over towards Sanity. He gets a couple shots over, and oh god, Sanity takes it all on his back as he gets both. The SMG 11 control is just so good. From up far and up close, he manages to prove himself.
The only time I get distracted by anything on my other monitor
so
is the
sorry.
time you ask me a question.
Yeah, I'm so
but-
sorry. I keep forgetting what to call him, and my mind or my brain is not working with his name.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll just crack on as if nothing happened. But we are seeing the side of Empire actually be able to pull themselves back in this defensive half. They've managed to secure a 2-2 scoreline. Once again, very even. Both teams trading rounds either way. Winning the first was Odessa, winning the second was Empire, and so on and so forth. Now, we're just in a position where we're carrying on, moving forward. We're seeing them go back to the top floor as it is already available, considering they lost 2 rounds prior. And they're just going to be doing pretty much the same setup they had before.
Yeah, pretty much the same setup over towards this top side, which they lost, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, EG lost this top side a little bit earlier on. So they are doing the same strand again, which might be a bit of a problem for them if it does come down to the wire. If it does come down to the fact that Odessa does get into the site, we'll just have to wait and see. Time will just tell. As Odessa will probably, of course, have adapted a little bit of themselves. We do see a brother come out for the first time today over towards Kobe. Kibi. Ah, god damn it. I forgot it again. QB.
But we are just looking at these teams have themselves postured up in their positions and seeing if they are able to contest against each other. At the moment, a bit of drone work coming out from the attacking side as they are going to just be peppering shots back and forth as a whole onto these windows, but nothing really coming into fruition. We do have that player hovering around the piano windows of the Ash. It is going to be Ryuji, the star player of this match so far, kind of falling behind as he is 3-4. Hasn't had his intense, amazing rounds. First round of this entire series went in favor of Odessa, and it was an ace from Ryuji, and he's only been dominant ever since. So seeing him fall behind like this is a little bit scary for the side of Odessa, as they kind of need that driving force. But if you're worn out, you're worn out. You need another player to step up, and we'll have to see how he decides to play the rest of this, as he has rotated over towards the red stairs piano window over on the minibar, and just going to be seeing if he can take any engagements with the man that's standing in bathroom. Excuse me, I was fighting a yawn. And I've probably just made a bunch of the viewers yawn as well, but either way, we move forward. We're going to be seeing Ryuji really enjoying his windows right now. He's moved all the way over to cocktail window after having a bit of a peek through the hatch and the skylight. And now he's just going to be falling off of that one and moving over the other side. Akashi secures a frag for himself. And there's now 2 done and dealt with, as we do have 1 man down. Now a man secured on the side of Odessa. So it is going to be a 4v3, not going to be completely in favor of Odessa just yet, but they're going to be definitely comfortable with their position at the moment.
Hold
the shot
up.
to the back of the head. Nikon's on a triple kill.
No.
Perfect finds 1 more, and
What?
it was a team kill by the looks of things through the head holes onto the player that was just trying to push onto that bathroom. Very, very unfortunate, as now we move into a position where the first team to string 2 rounds in a row on this map is going to be the side of Empire.
Yeah, everything that could go wrong just went wrong at the end. I think we saw a team kill coming through. We saw the entire team of Odessa just crumbling beneath their feet at that very moment. It seemed like they were so strong. It seemed like they headed into that. They had the 4 versus 3. Maybe one of their players was down to low HP, but you could use that play as bait. You could use that play as the entry. But still, they don't manage to find anything. I think only one kill went in their way once they entered the site, and that's not enough if you have 4 players going against 3. You need to be able to play that trade game. But as well, the unfortunate thing that did come through is that team kill, which is really unfortunate for the player that got killed, and as well for the player that did manage to get that kill, that did manage to kill his own teammate. You have to think about the fact that he was most likely looking, or he most likely died in the meantime of him shooting his own teammate. So instead of him
Yeah.
being able to cover his own teammate, instead of him being able to shoot at an enemy, shot at his own teammate, killed him, then most likely died because of that, which is just a double suck. It just sucks times 2 at that very moment.
Yeah, and well, with the way that Odessa have been playing throughout this, or say Odessa more Ryuji, really they should be having a bit more of a dominant performance coming into this. But the man that was like 15 kills in both of the first 2 maps is now 3-5 in
Yeah.
round number 6, and that's a bit scary when you look at the side of Odessa as the player that has been really has been the driving force for your team is now under threat of being one of the weakest in the entire match.
Exactly. I mean, he's really been the driving force for them. He's really been the one that just takes a round or 2 in each and every half, where he just absolutely dominates. And now he's just completely fallen flat. He's fallen quiet, and you can see that on the scoreline as well, where Odessa's been so dominant on their attacking sides every single map. Now they are just quite. They're just seeming dormant. They're just seeming like a neutered puppy at this very moment, not really doing much, not really getting in there. And EG are really taking advantage of that with the scoreline going all the way to 3 already. It's a problem here for Odessa. They need to solve that problem now, because if it does get to a 4-2 for EG has done more
this
than their
Jaeger.
job on this defensive side.
Nikon perfectly positioned underneath in the dining area.
Oh,
And
that's
C4
a
gets
beautiful.
thrown out by Moritz, manages to secure that kill, and he is just going to be rotating all the way away, getting down to that basement or bottom floor, not basement, as now he's going to be even more difficult to deal with, as he is going to be playing around stairs. Perfect player to take out is Ryuji, giving him a bad game, destroying that mental, making sure that you're able to stay on top of the frags. But looks like Buck is going to be running out of his skeleton key ammunition, and now he's going to be restricted to what he's already performed. So here goes nothing, I guess.
That's Eban down. Has to go for a revive. Will come through because he's at least safe over there. But that's even more time gone. There's only 15 seconds left on the clock. These attackers have to get in there right here, right now. 3-on-2, 2-on-2. Made possible by Kibi, who's still alive, who still has a chance to plant the diffuser. He will get into a safe corner, and Corinne should be able to cover him for now. Trying to pre-fire, making the enemies aware of his presence. Fires goes will find his way in there. He will sneak his way through, as Kibi is the last one standing in the corner. Nada Q still has full health, but the pre-fires from Moritz are starting to come through, down to low HP now, and there we go. Fires goes finishing it up, and EG putting a 4th on the board.
Indeed, managing to secure another round for themselves, and as I predicted, we're going to be seeing a 4-2 split in favor of the side of Empire. Now, this is a complete flip on its head from what we saw in the previous map. We did see 3-3 in the first one and 4-2 in favor of Odessa for the second one. So in the third one here, we are seeing 4-2 in favor of Empire. And I mean, they've been at an equal situation before and managed to come out with the win. And they've even been on the opposing team's map pick where they came out 4-2 after the first half and still managed to get it to 7-5.
Yeah.
So
Here's the nice thing. Here's the one thing that I do want to add on top of you. Sorry for sorry for
okay.
interrupting you. Is the fact that Odessa have not been down yet. They have not found themselves down 4-2 yet, and this is really a test for them. It's going to be a test for them to see if they can come back into this map. You were talking about Odessa not being, or kind of being that team that fought all the way through the lower bracket, all the way through the lower stages and everything. They've fought throughout the tournament, and now they're here. So with this game being so close, with it being a real test, we're just gonna have to see if they can manage to do what they've been doing, with them being now down a little bit now.
I mean, yeah, exactly. But what I was going to bring up is, so Odessa really have to work hard now, because even at a disadvantage for the side of Empire, they were able to make it quite close. And if you're starting in a position where you are already at an advantage and you've made it close on the opposing team's best map, you're going to be very, very confident with a scoreline like 4-2 coming into the attacking half of this map. Obviously, this map can be very defender-sided, depending on the way they play, so potentially that could play a factor. But the aggression from Odessa didn't really seem to come into fruition on the attacking side, so we'll have to see if they do decide to throw a few more bodies at a problem the LATAM way in the defensive side of this match.
Yeah, so far a little bit of a stalemate going on in this first round. We finally actually get to see that Solis pick coming through. I don't think we've seen it across this entire best of three so far. Now Ryuji is the one that decides to go for it. So he was fragging out earlier on, so the Solis pick might be the one for him to get back into this map, because he needs to do that if they do want to get this win on the board. They do want to survive, and there we go. First one being picked up. That's Nikon out. Kryn finds himself one, but immediately a trade coming through as far as goes will enter his way in. Iban will now be down as a little bit of a trade coming through. Perfect with the nade, and Foyers goes now gets traded by Ryuju. He starts to get activated now finally. Another kill would be nice for him in this round.
I mean,
in order to perhaps build up their confidence.
It's pretty hard to not be activated when you've got a 51 round magazine and such high fire rate. And I mean, with a 2-speed operator, you have the flexibility to either be a site operator or a roaming one. So you really have the flexibility to do pretty much whatever you want. Now, we see the attackers, Sanity, going to be making his way over towards Heaven Balcony and seeing if he can get an angle through into Freezer. But with the positioning of that shield, he's not going to be able to find it. And they've also got QB on the cross to worry about. And if he makes it any further, QB is going to have a very good angle onto him. He's going to be watching through, and Kryn actually secures it from the sidelines inside of Piano, I assume, on Pixel. Gets himself cleaned up in the end, though, by the sledge, and now the shield play from both of these players is going to come into effect. Solis going to be rotating over back into the cocktail area, but is actually going to be sitting behind the bar here.
Oh, this is sneaky from Ryuji. This is a play for the win. He's just stayed quiet the entire way through, and there we go. The nade will reveal the kill, but no, he doesn't get out on 1 HP. Perfect is there to hold the line. Oh, I thought he shot. Did he just wait? Huh? You saw the blood splatter as well, right? When he
when he threw the impact grenade, he got caught out a little bit by the Yana there, but at the end, he suffered trying to run back into the freezer, thinking the Yana wasn't pushing up. So, as I said, another audio issue, potentially to do with comms, potentially to do with the sound card support. But either way, it was a very, very, very nice attempt coming out of Ryuji to secure the win for that round. Very smart, keeping those impact grenades in pocket in order to be able to secure a frag onto the default plant, but unfortunately a bit out of position, one might say, in that situation. So we now have to move into the next round, where Empire are only 1 round away from match point.
Exactly. This is where Empire might be able to run away with it in the least spectacular sort of fashion that they could be doing it in this way. I mean, a spectacular fashion would be it getting to a real close standoff here towards the end, but now EG have the chance to just finish it up pretty easy, pretty quietly, without any single problems. They just have to get this one on the board, and then it's full match points for them before they can finish it up.
Indeed. At the moment, looks like the attackers of Empire a little bit wary of this aggression coming out of the side of Odessa, but they're opting to just stay very turtled, not really aggress in the early rounds. So at the moment, they're just going to be opening up these hatches and getting themselves ready for some kind of, maybe not execute, but get themselves ready to gather whatever control they can. Once again, a very horizontal push. Not clearing from below, not securing out this library area, just kind of allowing players like Ryuji here to just kind of run around and wreak havoc. They are just positioned around on this window as Force goes. Going to be securing the pop on that mute jammer. Probably didn't need to waste an Ash charge for that, but ended up doing so. In goes the Ash charge to try and get the shield, but gets caught by a Wamai magnet. And two of those drones there are actually caught by a mute jammer, so you're just going to want to try and deal with that in quick fashion for his team. But looks like he's actually going to be heading down to try and find Ryuji. He does get down here, gets a spot onto him, but actually gets caught out by Ryuji on the flank. And that is going to be an incredible start for Odessa.
He is so quick. Even when he's caught off guard, even when someone should be able to kill him quite easily, Ryuji still flicks around and manages to take that kill. And it's an important one, because you can see immediately off the back of that, they find a couple other ones, and they are now in a 4 versus 2. Moritz will take one back, 3 versus 2, and it's starting to get interesting as they are starting to make their way a little bit, ever so slightly, in this Cigar shop. There's not much contesting him just yet, and I don't quite know if they have. Yeah, they do both have drones in order to try to find out where these last couple attackers are playing. But what they do not have is time. 20 seconds left, and they've got to start making their way in now. Ryuji is still downstairs trying to spot out, and he still has a nade in order to stop whoever's planting that diffuser. And it's just going to be about whoever's planting that diffuser, because the time has ticked down a lot, and even if they do find the kills here, which they do find, I feel like it's still just going to be a fact of Ryuji from downstairs here. Oh, actually, no. The diffuser is going to be planted on top of that bar. Ryuji is not. Oh, he's going to be able to stop it.
The
from
angle
downstairs with the nades. Moritz gets out of it. Oh, no. The angle that he gets, he's aware of it being planted on top of the bar right where it is, and he knows that he has to line up the nade perfectly there in order to get a angle onto the planter, and he does get it. Perfectly played by Moritz to guarantee another round.
That's crazy.
Well, actually, no, by Ryu, sorry. By Ryuji.
Yeah, Ryuji actually securing the round for his team there. Going to be very, very good. Especially sort of denying, especially when you're denying that sort of match point situation that could be coming into effect here. We do have a Mozzie on side on the QB cam, and Ryuji going to be rotating onto that Jaeger for this bottom floor hold. So going to be seeing what he decides to do. But once again, putting him on another flexible operator, an operator that can be a roamer, can be on site, has very passive utility. So he puts that down and he just kind of deals with it and uses his gun. So more than likely, we're going to be seeing a lot of aggression out of Ryuji once again, trying to be a bit of a nuisance in this round, alongside QB, who's going to be hovering around in mining and trains, more than likely, on that Mozzie. So at the moment, with how it's looking, we're probably going to be in a good position for this defensive side. They have quite a widespread hold at the moment. I don't know if anybody is hovering around that top floor. By the looks of things, there is a man over by White Stairs just hovering around. And I mean, something we haven't seen in this best of 3 so far is bees.
Yeah, we haven't seen any of those stingers in here just yet, and we finally do get to see one. And it is all the way towards the end in 5-3. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Grim should actually be quite viable nowadays, so I'm not. I'm kind of surprised to see why he's not being picked too much. Oh, Forest Ghost now having to do his own due diligence of destroying your own drone. It's like destroying your it's like having to shoot down your own dog, essentially. It's done something. It's done something really bad, and well,
no,
it's
we
gotten
can't be having that.
it's gotten rabies by the muzzy. It's been taken over. You have to bring it down. You have to. It's just there's just nothing you can do. Get rid of it. It's like make sure that it cannot infect anyone. It cannot hurt anyone. And well, yeah. That's literally just Muzzy for you there. It's literally just Muzzy for you. Muzzy's cams are or Muzzy's
Your analogies
abilities
are
are
crazy. Stuck like a stepsister, like putting down your own dog. What's next? It's like kicking your own kid. Like what are you gonna come up with?
great. My mind comes up with the
You're just
craziest
a wild
stuff,
card
I mean.
for every stream that you feature on. But Moritz and First Ghost are able to secure the first 2 kills of this round. And that's going to put them in a good position for the later half, being able to deal with 2 very competent and confident gunners in this matchup. So we'll have to see how they decide to try and translate that going forward. But at the moment, it's looking a bit scary for Odessa.
Yeah,
the
it's
rotation.
looking very scary. Oh man, Ryuji caught out. Yeah, like you said, on the rotation by the Claymore. That's another one out. 5 versus 2. They have to make some plays right now, and there we go. That's the first one, and they do manage to get it. So Krint takes one back. He's on 8 kills, he's on 8 kills this game, so he's at least done quite a decent job as he is starting to awake. But will that awakening be enough to shut to put this Odessa team to
You know about the
sleep?
roof holes.
Oh yeah, this is just gonna be. It's gonna be so hard to get out of this. Oh, he does spot another one. Creeps his way out over towards the red stairs, and now he does get in towards Buck called reloading, but no, he goes for the drop shots and taking him down as EG gets their match point finally, 6-3.
I mean,
Well, actually,
yeah, Odessa have to win 3 rounds in a row here in order to take us to overtime, and I predicted an overtime match, so potentially could be seeing it. As a response to WTF, what was that analogy? TW's got a bit of a track record. He liked to say that if someone was stuck in a position, he would like to say they're stuck like a stepsister. And now he's brought up the dog analogy, which is bewildering to me. But either way, as I said, he's a bit of a wild card on every stream. Likes to make his own little analogies on the fly to try and surprise and get a chuckle out of people. And he normally catches me off guard. So
whenever I'm casting in the heat, my brain is just thinking about a million things, and sometimes something pops in my head, and I just want to say it because it sounds good, and just do it, man.
Sometimes the intrusive thoughts.
You can see where the analogy. You should be able to see where the analogy does come from. Essentially, you should be able to. But yeah, we do like to bring in those from time to time as well. Something that EG likes to bring in is would like to bring in is a closer to this map of Cafe. They're up 6-3 and they found their match point, and with them finding their match point, they're bringing back the bees that we did see them bring last round. I have to see if those can find any fruition, if those will be able to find anything this round.
Yeah. At the moment, this is where it gets tense. You're looking at a situation where one of the teams is at match point. You're on 3rd map. This could be all or nothing. Every single round means everything to the side of both of these teams. And now we're in a position. Well, yeah, we're in a position where if Odessa give up 1 round out of the 3 that they have to win, then they're done. That's it. They go home. They're done with ESA for this cup. But if they are able to secure themselves over time, at minimum, they are going to be out if they lose, but they're still going to have an extra few rounds to really push it forward and really put the pedal to the metal. And at the moment, we've just got to see if they are able to translate the ongoings of what has happened in the previous matches and get people like Ryuji, get people like Krint, get people like Iban to really put their foot on the gear.
Oh.
But it looks like Krint going down very early is going to be a bit of a scary situation for the side of Odessa. Losing out on that opening frag, losing your top fragger for this map. And now we really need to look to Ryuji, Iban, Akashi, people that have really stepped up in these matches so far to really put something on the table. In comes
Oh,
Ryuji.
that's a good one.
Manages
That's
to
a good
find
one. And Fire Ghost, Fire Ghost, the one holding the red stairs, the one tasked with doing that, will now fall, as it is only a slight hindrance in the plans of what EG is trying to prepare for and what they are trying to cook here. Oh, okay, that's a good amount of damage over towards those couple players. Perfect will get down, and oh,
Iban!
well, I mean, within seconds, you blink your eyes, and EG have lost a round. Odessa are one step closer to perhaps making this overtime.
Well, they've still got one more to secure, and I mean, I've seen closer clutches, but QB comes swinging around off those white stairs through the holes on the wall and manages to find the final kill for that round, bringing us 6-4 so far.
Yeah, 6-4. We do finally get to see this defender side take one back. They've not found much succession here on the defense. Only 2 rounds for them so far, as they've not really seemed to warm up into this third map of Cafe. Whereas they seem to be way more momentum heavy. They seem to be way better on that first map, on that second map, where they did seem a little bit more confident, where they did bring it in really close. Odessa here, I mean, they've got to start firing up. Currently, it's really just that top 3 players kind of carrying them across the board.
Indeed it is at the moment. But we are just seeing a little bit of scarcity among the KDs on the side of Odessa. Odessa really need to put some food on the table here, as they are, well, only a round potentially away from being relegated, and that's not what you want if you're an Odessa fan, or if you're a VOD apparently, from the team that is going to be playing against the winner of this match. So, well, Odessa really have to come out on top of this match and prove themselves against VOD's team, I guess, because at the moment they're a little scared.
Yeah, exactly. They seem to be tucked tail right now. They seem to be just going in like a dog that is tucking in tail, kind of treading ever so slightly, getting into the room, getting to know what is there, smelling everything out, and not really seeming that confident at this very moment. Whereas in the first couple maps, we saw them win confidently. We saw them win momentum heavily. Now they seem a little bit neutered. Now they seem like they've got a couple problems, and one of those problems is Nikon. First one on the board as Iban will fall down. Well, luckily, actually, it's Iban. He's been the one playing kind of the worst across all of these maps for this Odessa team. So
I think
he's
that's
not one of
QB.
those heavy hitters.
I think QB still holds that, because Iban genuinely did do really good in that second map. But Akashi catches a nade, doesn't quite fall, but is very, very wounded by it, as now these players just kind of hovering around on the piano side have Nikon to deal with.
When Ryuji is making his way from downstairs, perhaps trying to go for a flank here, QB finds one, and oh, interesting that he got past that window with one repelling there. Just gets out with his knife. Fire's Ghost is downstairs on that ash. But is he aware of any of those Romans? If
He's
I'm not
not.
mistaken,
He doesn't know.
I caught one out. Oh, no!
He doesn't
Could
even
he
see
taste
him.
that one? Yeah, he didn't even see the Roma. If I'm not mistaken, there's a Jaeger stand. There was a Jaeger standing right there. Didn't even see him, so they're not gonna have that info for later on. Now dropping down the hatch are these last 3 EG players, all grouped up together with a minute left on the clock. They have to make their way in. They have to perhaps find a kill or two before they really start to enter in on this, because else it's just going to be a problem for them having to cover all of these angles. Ryuji is still looming downstairs, as well as Krint. Moritz has now moved over there as well, and he can hear those footsteps. He can hear Krint just toying with the idea,
But he
but
doesn't know
Ryuji is
about
there.
Ryuji.
Ryuji! Oh, Ryuji! What? Another one. That's the double kill for him, as he just peeks out with pure confidence. Sanity, last one standing, finds one, but it's a 1 versus 3, and EG will have to claw themselves back in this last round, as the double has been picked up by Odessa.
What a double kill coming out of Ryuji right there. Perfectly played. Very, very well done from him. Managing to secure that kill. And I mean,
Ooh.
I think we all know that they do want this. We do have a couple players that are just dipping out for a moment. Apparently there was some FPS bugs. So they are just going to quickly leave and rejoin. There's no rehost at hand right now. So no one worry, no one panic, no one stress. We're just going to a technical pause so we can quickly get these players back into the match. They are just dipping out for a moment in order to regather themselves. Oh, I have been informed that we are going to be going to a rehost instead. Never mind. I lied to all of you. We're going to be going to our break just while the rehost is ongoing, and then we'll join you. Well, you'll join us once again when the match is underway. See you there.
Hello.
Welcome
Hello,
back.
ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. As my co-caster is just having a little death stare at you through his camera. We are heading back into Cafe 6-5, match point, EG, one away from taking it, but Odessa making a slight comeback in these last couple rounds. That's a little recap over for you, ladies and gentlemen, over what has happened in these last couple rounds since the rehost. We're heading back into it as Odessa have their last round on the defense before they do force OT.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused.
Very true. As you said, winning out the last 2 rounds, even after going to 6-3 on the scoreline. So 6-3 on the scoreline, it's already up to 6-5. So even though the side of Empire are already at an advantage when it comes to it being on match point, they have, however, lost the last 2 rounds. So Odessa only need 1 more to be able to bring us to overtime, and if they're able to bring us to overtime, they could even take it further. And I mean, I know the team that they will be playing against once they actually make it out of this match want this match. They want Odessa to find the win because they're more confident, supposedly, against the side of Odessa, and Odessa have a point to prove. So if Odessa are able to win out this round, take us to overtime, and potentially even win out the map, we could see them returning with a vengeance after losing best of 3s in the past to the team that they will be against.
Exactly. Odessa, they will have a tall mountain to climb if they do win out this round. But first, there's a little hill, which can also seem like a tall mountain if you are a player on Odessa, of just getting this round, of just getting to overtime. We shouldn't get ahead of ourselves. They are still down against a match point, which could be lost any second. Which could go wrong any second, as they are starting to make their way up in that Cigar Lounge right now. So a little bit of time has already dwindled past for this EG team. But well,
I mean, yeah.
with the time dwindling past, one of them will get a kill. And in the meantime, a refrag has been found as Krint will take one for himself. Krint, I mean, looking at the scoreboard, you're not going to see any of those players with high KDs right now, but Quint was doing quite good earlier on. In the meantime, as I've spoken, Nikon has picked one up for himself as well. EG are looking to get in a comfortable position for this last round.
They are C4 unable to be retrieved from the roof for the Valkyrie, and we are going to be just seeing her rotate back over towards that meeting room side as the sledgehammer reveals a player directly underneath. They try and take the engagement, unable to find the kill, as they are now going to be in a bit more of a dire situation for the side of Odessa. They're going to be pressuring on the side of Empire, just trying to find these last few stragglers that aren't quite on site just yet. But as they can't just at this moment, they are just going to be stalemated a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit of stalemate, and at the end of that stalemate, Fires gets down,
The flank!
and from the stairs, from behind the flank comes through Krint with a triple kill from him, as he's just tearing up the scoreboard in this last half. He's given his team a chance, a glimmer of hope, as Odessa will get another one. Akashi takes one for himself, leaving it all up to Moritz, and within a blink, it is turned into the hands of Odessa once again, and we are going to be heading into that OT, as Quint will guarantee himself that. Moritz, with 10 seconds left, doesn't have the angles upon these last defenders. I think he's just spotted out one, a couple of bullets being exchanged, but nothing really deadly, as Quint will pick up his 4K. We see the entire EG team now disconnect, and I think we might just have another rehost.
Indeed, we are going to be looking for another rehost. We'll quickly just discuss why. There was, and I was going to bring it up, but I was more talking to the producers in our own little personal text channel just to find out what is going on. There is an illegal Valk skin that was in play during that round, so I was just checking if it is going to be a default loss for Odessa or if we're going to be going for a replay. The first offense is a replay. So if they do make the same mistake again and bring any skins that are illegal, they are going to get defaulted that round. But obviously, first offense, according to the rules, is a round replay.
Yeah.
We're going to cut over to the caster cams just for a quick moment. We'll quickly discuss the issue at hand. As I said, round replay going to be coming up, and we're just sorting out the rehost and just resetting up the lobby in order to make sure that that doesn't happen again. We will cut to another very short break. Once again, we are going to a break, but it's going to be very, very short in comparison to the previous one because it's just a matter of quickly setting up the lobby. No one's having any issues, so we just need to remove those skins from play, and we'll see you in a minute or so. Hello and welcome back to this matchup. We are coming into round number 12 once again. This round has been played already.
3 rounds or 2 times already.
Again.
Yeah. Man, it's been a little time of a couple rehosts, but hopefully everything should be all right now. Hopefully we'll be able to get this last round going to see whether or not we will be going into OT. We did have a little showing of what could be happening a little bit ago, and that was Odessa taking the round win. Well, we'll have to see if that does come into, or if that favor does come into fruition once again, if we do see a repeat of that happening.
Indeed, at the moment we are just looking at Odessa set up this reading mining site, or reading meeting site, sorry, as they are just trying to go for pretty much the same stuff they did previous. Just this time without an illegal Valk skin.
Yeah, exactly. Same stuff, maybe a different story though. maybe we do get to see it pan out a little bit different. We do, as we might see a player or two just play in a different position from what EG is expecting here, from what they did get to see a little bit earlier on. We'll have to see.
Attacker's objective is to
But it worked for them. It worked for them just a little bit ago. We'll have to see if it works for them again.
Indeed it did, but this time we're going to have the attacking side able to adapt. So it has been confirmed by production that they do need to do the same things. Not entirely, like not to the point where the round's rigged and they're just going to go through the same thing as before, but to the point where they need to play the same site and bring the same operators. There's no alteration from that. They have to follow those guidelines and then play out the round however they like from there.
Exactly. That seems about the most fair way to plan out the round. Make sure that the stuff that has already been revealed to each other, then that can get out of the way. Because I also feel like it would actually go into the attacker's way, because they can really adapt to what the defenders are bringing. Then.
Indeed, we do see Nikon looking like he's setting up for a swing in to piano, but instead decides to go up to the roof. And yeah, really, like, we're just looking at a bit of a stalemate between these teams, a bit of an informational battle right now, as the attackers aren't really able to find too much. They're able to see utility with their IQ scanner, but really struggling to do much else with these mute jammers being so precious for the attacking side, or for the defensive side.
Yeah, now Sanity opening up that wall over towards the freezer. They're getting in towards two of those defenders, but they have those defenders have a hatch to fall down on once they do get a kill or two. So we have to see if they do get those kills or two. A couple shots being exchanged as Fire Ghost will take them. A little bit of damage, but not quite much, as we are down to a minute, and this is where EG have to start going. Odessa does manage to put the first one on the board as Ivan is there. He's going for more from the white stairs. Spotted out Iana. His teammates are even going for more. They want to go aggressive here. Reju on the mute, trying to get something with that SMG-11. And with 40 seconds left, I would have to say that Odessa can get aggressive here. They have the man advantage. They just have to play time here. If that time gets dwindled down bit by bit, even the kills now going in the favor of Odessa, it will not go in the way of EG, and we do get to OT. They repeat what they did earlier on, now doing it even better.
Beautiful, absolutely amazingly played for the side of Odessa. They managed to position themselves on top of the top floor, and really give themselves that advantage that they needed. I'm a little worried because during the break I put a pizza in the oven, and now we're on overtime, so this could be great.
It could definitely be great. But I mean, set a timer, man. Set a timer. I will take over the count 1-0. Pizza is ready.
Well, I'll be back in time to probably finish up if we do go to 3 rounds. But if we go to 2, then it might just mean you have to outro us. But that'll be about it.
It's alright. You just put you just turn the oven off or whatever. You should be fine.
Yeah, it's not too dire.
Yeah. But well, 6-6 on the board. OT is where we're heading into, and Odessa are once again back on defense. The half that they started on, or that they ended up on actually a little bit earlier ago, where they had so much success finding the comeback. Well, they now have a chance to keep that momentum of the comeback going for them in this defensive side, which seems to be favored here on Cafe, to perhaps even force out an OT or a match point for themselves now.
Indeed, they are looking quite strong in the last 3 rounds, managing to win 3 in a row. Technically 4, if you include the one with the illegal Valk skin, because as Odessa did argue against the protest, the engagement that the Valkyrie was in, the solo 1 engagement that the Valkyrie was in that entire match, or in that entire round, it was unfavorable for the attacker. The attacker wasn't even looking in the right direction, and it was, I'm pretty sure, a first bullet headshot. So that they argued that, which again, yes, they are correct, but also it's illegal. to use those
Yeah.
skins. So they are well within their right to contest, and that's not a feasible enough excuse to really deny it. But speaking of feasible, that C4 goes nuts as it manages to quickly dispatch of the Thinker. Such a powerful attacker to remove off the bat. And now there are not only a man disadvantage on the side of Empire, but also just entirely a disadvantage as a whole. Your active utility member has just completely gone in the bin, and now you've only got one left for your entries.
Exactly, it's kind of one of those operators that you need to stay alive towards the end of the round. That does fall off immediately. Thinker finds so much of that value the longest he stays alive for the attackers. It's like some of those defender operators that do have this exact same thing going for them. The longer you stay alive, the more useful your utility is going to be. As perfect here. He's trying to catch himself a couple angles, just about doesn't catch anything. Time dwindling down once again. EG is not making their way in. He's still got a lot of angles left to open up and a lot of angles left to clear, as these Odessa players are still just plays downstairs. Krint is going to be going for a red stairs flank. He's starting to come in ever so slightly. Gets the Claymore. Oh, but from the red stairs, from the top of the red stairs, he's now been hurt, but immediately goes back, knows that he's kind of done enough of being a little bit of a nuisance, of being that little annoying kid that just sits and pokes at your side the entire time. Ryu now does get downed. Krint does immediately try to retrieve the favor, but he does not manage to do that. EG are starting to come back into this, but another one of them gets down. Ryu is still down on the ground as Fires and Perfect are starting to make their way in. The player, Ryu, is still down as his teammate that was near has now gone out for the count. The Sanity and Perfect clean it up, and EG find match point once again.
Indeed they do. They manage to secure the match point for themselves, and that's going to be very, very good for the side of Empire, because now you've pushed the side of Odessa into a position where they have to win an attacking round. And with you being 4-2 split favored on the defensive side, you're going to be in a good position. So you've really got to fight tooth and nail for this round, no matter which side you're on. Because A, it's match point, and B, well, it's kind of winner takes all.
Exactly. It's elimination on the line here. It is elimination on the line here, and we are getting down to the nail. Let's have a look back, a little look back on the first two maps here, Naj, as both of those maps were 7-5 for the respective sides that did pick out the map. We are now into a 7-6. This game is getting tooth to nail. It's ending all the way over towards the end. We are playing every single round in regulation time in this best of 3, as both of these teams are just so close to each other, and both of them really do not want to be eliminated here. But now it does seem like Odessa have to climb a big mountain in order to get themselves back in. And man, that mountain can seem ever so steep as EG has set themselves up over towards the 3rd floor once again. This time playing a Frost, a Jaeger, and Muta Romai and a Castle. We're expecting them to see do a little bit of a weird strat, a strat that we don't necessarily see way too much here. Maybe we could see a couple of those Frost mats find some value, but so far, I feel like every single time those Frost mats haven't really done too much. These players, they always seem to be aware of where they can be, of where they can potentially be looming. Kubino making his way in towards Siga, flashing his way in. As if I'm not mistaken, there's none of the defenders playing there, so he should have a free entryway in towards that Siga shop. The rest of his team is still starting to drone from upstairs. Do see QB or the wall being opened up by the Hibana.
Enemy disabled.
Flores is starting to make his way in, but all of his drones have been caught up at that mute utility. They've got to get rid of it before that utility can be put into value again. Odessa does get in a position where he can destroy the mute jammer, and he indeed will do that. With 1 minute 30 left on the clock, Odessa need to make their way in. They need to find a kill or two in order to start snowballing this in their way, snowballing this in their favor. If not, it could really be a problematic round for them. Akashi does manage to find the first. Perfect is out already. 1 minute left on the clock as Nikon does decide to go for a peek from the freezer. Takes down Krint, one of the heavy fraggers this map. We'll have to spectate the rest of the team, perhaps towards the end of this game. Nikon finds another one. That's the double kill on the board. With 45 seconds left, we're getting in closer. At least one has been taken back by Akashi, but Fires goes is there as well. Akashi on for the triple kill. He wants to get that quad, maybe even the ace. But will he be able to do enough? Sanity is there, holding the line. Both of them starting to get in there. Sanity missing his shots, missing the line. That was crucial. If he got one or two there, it would have. If he got one there, it would have most likely done the job. But he didn't get anything, and now we're still left into a 2v2. As Sanity is holding the line, doesn't hit the shot on the sledge. Akashi just keeps his tag going. The quad kill is there for him. The fuse is now going to be planted as well as Akashi is just keeping up his tear. The C4 from upstairs doesn't cast Akashi anyways. He's still alive, but Iban takes away his ace towards the end. Akashi does do enough to carry his team across the finish line. We go all the rounds for this last map of Cafe as we do manage to take it back.
Okay.
A little bit of a timeout coming through as these players probably need a... Has it been so far?
It's been crazy. That 4K really like bringing back for this team. I mean, as you can see on the scoreboard here, like Akashi 6-1 after 2 rounds after the rehost. Obviously, ignore the round wins. The round wins are completely false. It was a 4-2 first half, but the round wins are just set up that way because of the rehost in order to give the teams the optimal rounds necessary. But either way, it's actually kind of impressive how astonishing some of these players can be. And I mean, seeing how they have been so far since the rehost, people like Akashi really stepping up to the plate. People like, well, actually, it's more of a broad spread across the side of Empire. They managed to bring themselves into the game in the previous round, and now we're in a position where we're on the final round of the final map. So that best of 1 that we've come down to from this best of 3 has now become a best of 1 round. Yeah. This is the true all or nothing. And my overtime prediction was correct. Even after a 6-3 match point start, I guess, for the side of Empire.
Yeah, that prediction does come true. We do now have to see if Odessa's prediction of perhaps winning this map will be coming true. They are going to be heading into the reading room fireplace. I think this the stuff is we're lagging out a little bit over here, but yeah, they're going to be heading into that reading room fireplace. As they do, they really need to keep up that momentum from the last round. They have their defense side right now, which has been the most advantageous side over the course of this map so far. The only problem has been here in overtime, both teams have won their attacking side. So looking at the overtime rounds, well, it's attacker-sided. So we might just see a complete switch up of whatever team has the advantage here going into this last round. We might think that it's Odessa because of the defensive side, but it might just be EG because of that attacking side overtime.
Indeed, it might be. At the moment, we are just looking at the game starting to get underway once again. We're going into the final round of the final map. Here we are, ready. Well, more ready than ever
Yeah, I hope the players are ready. I hope everyone here in chat is ready. I hope you have yourself a drink. I hope you have yourself a little bit of popcorn, maybe some snacks or whatever, because it is match point game number 3 between Odessa and Empire. We'll have to see who comes out on top right here. It's going to be Odessa on the defense with a Frost, a Castle, a Mute, a Ramai, and a Valk. That's what they have picked themselves. We've so far seen the Valk come out a little bit on this map. Of course, the rehost, one of those rehosts that we had earlier on was initiated because of an illegal Valk skin. Now, though,
Objective is to locate a bomb and
I don't think there's any of those illegal Valk skins at play. I think everyone has checked for it at this very point, because we do not want another rehost to come through. Pretty default setup coming through from Odessa. Not really showing anything that's completely out of the ordinary. Going for that fireplay is actually interesting side for them to choose. It's not necessarily a side that we see too much, as it's usually teams like to go kitchen or all the way 3rd floor, top roof. It's usually what teams just like to play. This time around, it is a little bit of a switch up. We do see fireplace being preferred as that second side. EG slowly starting to make their way in, slowly starting to drone every single thing. There's a two-sided Roma setup towards this 3rd floor. So they will have to clear that one out first. Actually, they might just decide to not even go for that 3rd floor. They might just decide to completely ignore it and just to rush that 2nd floor, get the diffuser down somewhere. I have to see what they do decide to go for. Currently, it's just droning out, making sure that top floor, that 3rd floor is cleared off completely.
Indeed, we are going to be
Oh.
seeing them just posture themselves up in piano on the side of Empire, doing pretty much the same thing as they did in the previous round, attacking this site. And they're just setting up in pretty much all of the same positions. They've got their ace positioned in the stock area of Freezer. And, I mean, on the side of Odessa, we have those players on the White Stairs and also inside of the cocktail bar. At the moment, they are just on a bit of a stalemate, waiting patiently for somebody to make a move. Flores nearly gets his head taken off as he takes the swing. QB goes down to a nade, and now it's looking so much closer, so much better for the side of Empire. They find another one. It's 5 versus 3 now as Krint goes down on those stairs. Ryuji still standing, as he has been such a big factor, and so is Akashi, who's 6-1, the big decider for the previous round. As now a player comes down White Stairs, they have information that those pings are there. They are active. Shotgun in hand. As the player gets a bit closer coming down those stairs, he runs down to avoid the grenade. And is now going to be in a position where he can get close with the shotgun, but doesn't quite find the player. Frost
Diffuser coming in.
secures that instead. Iban. But
Oh,
Akashi's
hold
still
up.
standing. They find one. The Sledge going to be taking the swing onto the Frost inside of the meeting room, but isn't able to find the kill for himself. And now the defenders, one horizontal, one on the vertical. Are they going to be able to win out this clutch? As I said, tooth and nail for both of these teams. Both of them really need to put in a performance here. They find the
hold
Sledge.
up, wait a minute.
It's a 2v1. From a situation that was borderline unwinnable, they're now in a 2v1
No
situation.
way!
And Odessa come out of the game with a win.
No!
And they are going to be
effing
moving
way.
on to the next best of 3,
Bomb defusing attempt failed.
where I'm pretty
What
I
the
don't know who they're going to
fuck?
be playing, but they're going to be moving on to the next best of 3 in the perfect round that I have ever seen played in that execute, in that position.
Wow, what a perfect way to shut out a best of 3 series with a 2 versus 5 like that. And you
Wow.
shut out the complete EG team that were they were they were done. EG was done at that point where they had the 5 versus 2, where they had the diffuser coming in. They were basically already with their heads in the clouds in the next round. and they just got absolutely sucker punched. It was like they got a punch in the face, back to reality, and reality is looking shit. Reality is looking like a grim cesspool of shit because you have just lost. You have just lost a 2 versus 5 in match point that you had the advantage in, and now you're out of the tournament. Now the real team that was looking, or the team that was looking to have the advantage in this best of 3 is out for it, and Odessa managed to move on by a string of hope.
I mean, exactly. In a situation where you're completely on the back foot. Also, I just had to switch cameras halfway through you talking because my phone died. So, yeah, with how that went, in that 2v5 situation, first 2 maps 7-5 either way. The final map went all the way to round 15. We
Yeah.
saw 12 rounds in the first 2 maps, both 15 rounds in map number 3, and it came out with Odessa on top. It was a hard-fought victory. It was a heartbreaking defeat, but both of these teams have a lot to learn from the matches that we've just played, and that's going to be it from us. We'll quickly do our
Yeah.
shout-outs. Go right ahead. You can fire yours off first.
Yeah, you can find me over at Twitter at TW_TV7. That's where you'll find one of the greatest Siege casters slash CSGO slash Valorant and whatever, name whatever FPS shooter. That's me, the best, or one of the best to do it in those games. Besides, and well, one of the best next to me is going to be Nash. And Nash, where can we find you?
Well, you can find me at twitch.tv/Naj. I am also Naji on Twitter with an underscore at the end, which is just Naj and then IE with an underscore. Also, I'd like to give a quick shout out to the Rejects because they're like my little circle. I explain it every time. I love them so much. And yeah, they've really inspired me to really chase casting as a whole. And I'm really enjoying it. So we hope to see you in the next one. Hopefully, we'll have a little less protests and a few less rehosts in the next best of 3 that we do end up casting. And I hope the stream for ESA gets to see more of you, TW.
Yeah, I hope that we do get to see. I hope that I do get to see more. I hope that all of you in chat did enjoy, and I do see a little bit of shit cast. I think, yeah. I mean, we are kind of shit, aren't we? We are just a little bit shit. But yeah, that's gonna be it from me and Nash from today. We did have a great time here casting this Empire versus Odessa game. We'll see Odessa moving one step forward. But ladies and gentlemen, it's been me and Nash. Have a great evening.
Good night.